Because I'm worth it.
Yeah.
Hello. The Matrix got me. I'm at X-Ray's house.
Oh my god. Welcome to my incel basement.
It's great. She's got snacks here.
Ooh, a lot of Canadian alcohol. But right now, look what I got. I got a nice bottle of Maker's Mark. I'm getting into this.
Ooh, I'm jealous.
They don't have good alcohol. Well, American alcohol in Canada. So I've been enjoying myself a little way too much.
It's okay.
You don't have Maker's Mark and stuff.
They took, so with the tariffs, the Ontario Liquor Board got very mad and then took all alcohol from the States off their shelf. All of them.
They're throwing a hissy fit, and it's kind of
we
really
are
gay.
the like very jealous ex-girlfriend. We're like, you're breaking up with us? Well, guess what?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that is
throw
so
all your
weird, 'cause
stuff in the garbage.
You think you'd just adjust the prices, and then if people wanted to pay the higher price, they would, or they'd choose a cheaper one.
I mean,
take it
you're
off the
thinking
shelf.
logically. They don't think with logic. Come on.
It's true.
So good. Anyways.
I saw there's a video going around where they put the wax on those, and to show you, how there's just a woman who dips almost the entire neck of the bottle into the, and it's just all red as it pours down.
I mean, I like that it's like unique in each bottle like that. That's cool. That and the Crystal Skull. Those are like my favorite bottles.
I love watching.
I didn't
random
believe
stuff
it was.
like that.
I didn't believe it was unique to every single bottle, like hand dipped every time.
Oh, really? You thought it was like machine?
I just thought, put some like some clamp stuff on it all the time, and that was it.
Well, there you go. Learn something new.
I always go down like a weird rabbit hole when I watch stuff like that. Like then I start watching shorts on just like, I don't know, furniture getting remodeled. Like, oh, I'm thrifting this and turning it into like $1,000 dresser, and I'm like, what? I'm gonna do that.
Oh my god! Did you watch the video about? So there was a influencer that started off with like a pin, like a paperclip, and then she wanted to trade up to a house. And then she decided to do like a giveaway, like, oh, I'll let you live at this house for free. And then the person who ended up like living there trashed the house and didn't live there for like a whole year.
Oh wow!
Made a video.
I didn't see that.
The person who lived there made a video saying like, "Oh, I got kicked out of the house," when in fact she had just, didn't want to be there, and was a bad tenant.
Trying to get attention.
Serves you for giving your house away to someone.
I know, to someone random. Like, I don't even want to rent to a family because
she's not renting. It serves you right for giving your house away for free. The people that want it for free are the ones that will trash your house. There's a reason they're not paying rent somewhere else. This is the same problem that they have in Ironheart and everything. It's like you can't do that kind of thing. It doesn't work. They tried before. They got a load of homeless people and put them in houses, and then they just couldn't take it because they were out on the street. They're out on the street voluntarily, essentially. Because there's so many places to go where you can get off the street that if you are on the street, you're essentially doing it voluntarily, because no one in those groups will take you because you're so horrific. Like, you're not helping people by randomly sticking them in a house.
Look what I got. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say it doesn't solve the actual root problem that these people are existing. I mean, we see it all the time. People will beg and be like, "Oh, I want McDonald's, but I'm staying outside of a Tim Hortons." I'm like, well, sorry.
It'll work out, buddy. Sorry.
Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you too.
No,
it's
fine.
like there are cases where workhouses, prisons, asylums were all good for people because it gave them the structure they can't have on their own. So you can either be on the street or you can be in a workhouse. And yeah, they'll make you work. But they'll also force you to be in a schedule that will be better for you. It's
like children.
It is.
Some people are. The more I think of it, the more it's like a lot of people should not have freedom because they don't know what to do with it. They can't actually handle it. They would be much better off in a really structured environment, which doesn't let them do, just be homeless. I think it's better to restrict that kind of to reduce the choices. Like, have you ever seen the research on people can't make decisions over massive groups? This is why you see people in a supermarket and be like 20 different types of chocolate, and they just stand there staring at them. They get decision fatigue. They can't choose. Like, well, if you just had 3 chocolate bars, it'd be easier for them.
It's very true. I don't belong in a candy store. I will not.
Oh my god, there's so much chocolate.
I'll go in there and I won't even leave with anything. So I can't choose, so I'm just going home.
I'm doing nothing at this point.
It's true though. Like, just I don't know. Just give me a Snickers bar and I'm fine.
Oh god,
the worst ones are the people that will spend half an hour reading a takeaway menu only to order the same thing that they've ordered every single other
chicken
time.
Chicken tenders, or something very plain.
I might want something different this time. It's like, no, you won't.
You're gonna get the same thing, Sharon.
There's something very safe knowing that I don't have to risk eating a bad meal. But that's also why I like Google reviews and looking at pictures of food.
Yeah. No, that's helpful.
I basically can taste it. Just look at me so pensively.
Yeah, it was when you said pictures of food. I'm like, that seems to be the most how it looks is the most irrelevant part of food. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Presentation matters.
No, the smell even affects. So you have the taste, then you have the smell, which also affects the taste. But how it looks, that doesn't affect.
What I'll do is
anything about the food.
I'll look at the picture and then I'll open up the review and they'll be like, oh, we got this, and this was excellent. This wasn't, blah, blah, blah. So hopefully get some information in that sense as well.
That's already more effort than I've put into any amount of food at any point. I may look at the average star, but I'm not looking at reviews for specific types of food.
I look for cleanliness too, because have you ever looked at reviews for a food place and they post pictures of stuff with mold, and I'm like, oh, I almost ate here.
Well, we have a food ratings agency from 1 to 5, so I just go off that. They do random inspections.
Oh, that's good. I know there's some places they don't have this in, at least not where I am at in Florida, and they didn't have it in Buffalo either, where you're ranked A or B or C or whatever, and you have to be extremely clean to get an A rating. I kind of wish every place did that, but then I probably wouldn't eat anywhere because all the places I eat probably would be a C because I don't know that they're dirty.
Wicked gets sick when she eats all the time. I wonder why.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. The shrimp seemed fine.
There was a fishy smell with the shrimp, but I thought they just swam in the same place.
Looked to the kitchen. This guy started pouring the food over his arm. I did wonder what was going on.
Oh, the chef.
Ew. I've watched too many Indian street food videos. I see that.
Oh my god! No, disgusting.
No. Oh, there was one I saw today. It was this is the cleanest street food I've ever seen in my life. But the guy cleaned the glass by putting his hand in the glass and pouring water over his arm. So I'm even when it looks clean, you watch them making it what is happening?
That is so disturbing.
That looks a little better. Sorry, guys. I'm working with a crappy camera. No, I'm not being held hostage. Unless you my mom probably doesn't want me to go home, so maybe I might be.
Renowned for putting Christmas lights behind you on a curtain.
Just want to make me comfortable.
Are both Wicked and I lagging in our video, but compared to our audio? Because she definitely is doing that for me, but I don't know.
You're not, but your picture's also been fine. I've seen Wicked go all pixelated and stuff, so her internet's probably cutting out the picture.
She's caught up now. It's okay.
Yay!
Well, I was
All
going
right,
to say
well-
women should be seen, not heard, but I guess we're doing the opposite.
Sorry.
There was a quote, I can't even remember what it was that I saw, but it was from Squid Game, and then there was a second one. Hang on, I think I tweeted it out. Oh, you know something? When you don't open your mouth, you're kind of attractive.
Actresses that we can say that to. Amber Heard.
Yeah. That's one. I would say Rachel Zegler, but like she has to have some real like a certain look to look pretty. Like altogether normally, like no makeup and stuff. It's like, no.
No, not feeling it.
Zegler
No.
is varies. She does have some, especially on the red carpet. I think when somebody else does all the stuff for her,
And she's wearing like
Yeah.
a gown and
The right outfit. Yeah.
but then she'll go and do like an interview with an article thing, and they'll bring in their own makeup person. Oh, it's awful.
they're like we
She
don't
has had
like
some
you.
really horrific. I don't know whether I can find them. Really, really horrific photo shoots done before.
I'm trying to think of other actresses. Chat, I saw you say Brie Larson. I don't think she's necessarily bad.
Looking.
No. But
No.
like in terms of her red carpet stuff, I haven't really seen her do anything that was atrocious.
No, I think she's more like just like kind of mild. She doesn't like. I've never seen her try to like overdo it or really like. Yeah, I would say she's kind of medium.
Yeah.
I mean, we know some people that really like her, like Lethal and Ryan are in love with her, but
I think they just
I
want to
think
have
Ryan just liked her white t-shirt though, didn't he? I think that's what won him over.
I mean, nipples will win any guy over, I think.
it's true. Very easy. This not denying it. He's like,
well, yeah, it's like from Ironheart, it's always the sort of, well, you know, women have live, laugh, love and quotes on their wall. That should just be the next quote on the wall. Nipples will win any guy over.
There we
They
go.
just wake
See?
up every morning and see it.
Guys, this might be our next saucy shirt.
I was gonna say this crew needs some merch. Oh, did Bree liked one of his tweets and then that's it.
Oh,
won him
yeah.
over.
I remember that. Yep. I mean, he might meet her. I think she's going to be at SpaceCon, or was it? Or
I don't know.
if he ends up going, that'd be hilarious. Maybe he'll be able to meet his love.
I feel like he would definitely take a picture with her. He's like, I don't care what you say, internet. I love her.
Well, in Squid Game, they did change the quote as well later, because the woman he's talking to says something, and you think he does switch it around to, that's the first time you've been attractive with your mouth open. And I think the first time was intentional.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I got to catch up. I'm going to binge it when I get home.
Yeah, I'm up to the penultimate one.
Squid Game? I haven't watched season 2 yet.
Season 3?
I'm
season
liking
two.
No, I
it
haven't
better-
watched season 2.
Oh, okay. So
I'm
you
liking
have
this better
all of
than
it to
season
binge.
2.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but that's because the problem with season 2 with the games were too complicated and the characters were all meh. But because this is the second half of the games, there isn't that many characters, and the games are far more actiony, so the characterization doesn't really matter because it's not really focusing on that. It's focusing on the actual action of the game itself.
Yeah.
As these games are we're trying to filter out people. So they're small enough where you know the faces, but they also still need to kill loads of them. So.
Well, I can't wait to watch it. If you're saying it's getting better, that attracts me.
Well, it's better than the second one. It's nothing like the first. Like, there's a huge gaping chasm between these seasons and the first season. There's still a really weird storyline of there's just some random people on a boat, and they just sail around in this boat, and that's all they did in the second season, and then they continue just sailing around in this boat for 2 seasons. It doesn't go anywhere.
Oh,
So,
when they're trying to find the place?
everyone went, this is the worst storyline of season 2, because it starts okay, and then it's just them on a boat. And season 3 has just been them on a boat. Yeah. So bizarre.
I'm on a boat. Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
kind of
understanding
bizarre.
this.
She's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I'm on a boat. I think there's a song about it.
Yeah, something like that. There's a couple. Yeah. Anyways, let me get a couple of the super chats and then we'll get into our topics. Guys, you're piling in over there. Thank you. Schick for $1.99 as always. Megatron. It might sound even better because I have Nug. Everyone says it now. Yes. Or should I do Chipmunk Megatron? Grizzly Bear Wrestler Mazza sent 3 99-cent super sticker poop emojis. Thank you, Grizzly Bear Wrestler Mazza.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Made for 5. Special guest Tugs when, or would that be a poor choice? You'll have to stay tuned to Saucy to find out. And Mate also gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Sneaky Singy became a new member. Thank you. And Psychotic Mongoose gifted a membership. Happy belated birthday. Everyone in the chat say happy birthday to Mongoose. His birthday was 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations on another journey around the sun.
Cheers. Drinking some bourbon to you.
There you go. I wish I had some. I forgot my beer at my mom's.
I'm still trying to find the Rachel Zegler picture thing. I can't. Nobody has reposted it. They're that awful. But then I stumbled across an article that says Rachel Zegler, the built-in misogyny and racism of Hollywood controversies.
You want to know some stuff I've seen? Like, there's a couple, videos, like, I would say YouTubers on the other side that I don't agree with, like, their takes, but sometimes they can make, like, a good video essay or something, right? So I'll watch, like, this one channel if, for example, if I don't want to watch a movie, like Snow White, and they do a wrap-up and, like, tell me all the points and everything. Well, she made a video, and she's, like, talking about, like, all the hate that Rachel Zegler's got, and, like, everyone in the comments, like, oh, yeah, people are just, like, so mean. And I'm like, where am I? What is this side of YouTube? She sucks. Where did I stumble into? You guys are not. No,
but that's the interesting thing, right? So you'll have people on both sides of basically anything you ever ask, but then you just have the movie box office, and that will tell you where most people are. And They just didn't turn up for Snow White, so. They
did not. I found a book the other day. I think it was at Barnes & Noble or something, and it was like her Snow White on the cover, and I was like, ew. I actually took a picture. I'll send it to you guys in the group chat. I forgot.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if it went on clearance.
I think it was. I think it said it had a sale sticker on it. And it was like an animated version of her, but I'm like, why didn't you just put Snow White on? It's literally her, like the tan one with the Lord Farquaad hair. I'm like, what are you doing? Ugh. No wonder this book didn't sell you dummies.
No one likes her. There are very few like her. At least Pedro has like hardcore fans. There are no Rachel Zegler hardcore fans.
Speaking of Pedro, I know Disparu's got some stuff to pull up about him.
No, the thing with Pedro is, because I heard the daddy stuff ages ago, and I never really believed it was true until I was in a random Twitch stream, and I can't even remember whether I mentioned Pedro or something, and then she completely off her own, but he wasn't just went, "Daddy." I was like, Jesus, I found this part of the internet. I found
it.
The section.
Well, I mean, it's because you were on Twitch, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I wonder, like, where does that come from? And I think it probably starts. A PR company will probably push it in a certain niche, and then they all say it to themselves. So they pick up on it because everyone else in their little bubble is saying it.
You should make an Instagram. I want to see Disparu on there.
I'm not going to post pictures of food.
You can post pictures of squirrels.
But
I think that'd be cute.
It would be.
It would be a completely irrelevant audience if people are following me for squirrels. And then like, you want to come to YouTube? No, I just want squirrels.
You are.
That doesn't filter over to YouTube in any way, shape, or form if people are following for squirrels.
I'm just saying, you would find some stuff. Like, if you want to know the Pedro people, they are on Instagram. Like, I'll find, like, reels of him, and they're all like, oh, he's just, why is he so perfect? And I'm like, who?
I think they were essentially psyoped into it. I think it was like a marketing push into their little... And they all convinced themselves that they really find this cock attractive. And then the moment...
Brainwashed.
Because there was a moment where it broke out of their bubble, and people were like, what do you mean calling him daddy? And then everyone went, ugh. Like, the entire internet cringed simultaneously, and then it started to die off. And then more people were speaking about, why on earth do you find this guy like this? And then you saw people that liked him before going, actually, no, he's been a bit pushed all over the place here. Suddenly, a load of articles came out, and we've got more puff pieces for him. And it is very bizarre to me.
Oh, and the recent ones are so creepy.
The videos and pictures, like what was it, like Vanity Fair or something?
Like, start as you mean to go on. This picture
gosh,
is
no.
No, please, please, please.
Oh,
Help me.
sorry, we gotta
we're
edit,
starting
sorry.
strong with the
We're-
best one.
Neither of us
Oh
know
my
it.
god! Look,
This
that
guy
thumb
has
is
never
basically
been-
in his mouth.
He has never
probably
been
likes it.
happier. Like, there are other people who's like, oh, look, he's not happy. No, this is a satisfied man. There's what, maybe 5 or 6 men groping his face at the moment.
I was gonna say I don't
And-
see any feminine fingers there.
They
Oh,
all
they're
look
definitely
like-
men's hands. 100% men's hands.
Oh my gosh, he
And
is so
it
happy.
is that creepy that. It's like,
You know what that
whoa.
reminds me of? You know the You show? That is what that
Aw.
reminds me of. That is the cover.
Yeah,
Just
he
saying.
might be outside your door jerking off on the street to you
Okay.
walking around your window.
I mean, come on, you can just pause it at random places.
You know what? I will say he every face that he's made technically could make a good thumbnail.
Yeah, this Bruce got gold
The
hair if something
best-
ever pops off with
It's
him.
not widescreen. That's your issue.
Oh,
It's like, well, and then they cut off his head a bit, so you might have to use some
They're not
AI
that
to fill it
based.
in. But
But it's the most creepy video I've ever seen. And this is supposed to be, everyone wants
Hot.
a piece of Pedro.
yeah, that ain't hot.
it's like, I guess, mimicking they think, oh, I bet you wish that was your hands all over him.
What,
All
your
I'm thinking
men's
is, like,
hands?
How
Like-
I don't like when people touch my face. I'm just thinking, like, man, you're gonna get pimples and stuff, Pedro. Like,
This is the entire
I'll
point.
wash their hands.
It's in Vanity Fair. Like, if this was in, like, some gay magazine, I could understand it. But if you're marketing this at women, I don't understand it. Because I don't know why women would be into Pedro getting groped by men's hands.
It's
That's beyond
true.
me.
That's I think that's what they call bigots. People who judge people like that. I don't know.
Everybody judges people like that. There's just some of us are honest about it.
I know. And Pedro, he did good at first, in my opinion. Game of Thrones. I really liked him in the
Yeah, when he got his
role
head
that he did.
smushed.
Well, technically yes, but I think that role really personified who he was as
Yeah.
a person. You know, he wanted to seem like he's straight. He had a wife, and you know, he was traipsing around with his wife in the brothels and had the company of men as well.
Yeah, I will say I didn't mind his character. He wasn't annoying yet. Even the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, okay, whatever. Didn't have any issues, but yeah, he's being shoved down our throats, and it's just like, why? Like, why are they choosing him to be the it guy? Is what I don't understand, because he's not.
Well,
that's
not
in
that
the
he's-
later article. If I'm going to share stuff, you're going to have to actually put it on the screen.
Oh, sorry, I see it. Okay. Whoops.
But so he fought with J.K. Rowling. Pedro Pascal shuts down Rowling. He defends people because isn't he amazing? Don't you really like a social justice warrior? Isn't that what gets your rocks off? I actually don't feel like I've been very shut down, but you know, God loves a trier.
Didn't she after this pull up? What,
oh, look at
what
the
is-
magazine it's
I was
in.
gonna say, what is the name of that magazine?
Oh my god, it's Dainty, yes, queen.
See, that kind of marketing I can understand. With like, yeah, it shuts down J.K. Rowling. Vanity Fair? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, how long until he starts talking like very sassy? You think? I don't
But
think
he
he talks.
does.
He's always been sassy.
Yeah,
Don't you remember the clips of the Cannes Film Festival?
I am a
Oh.
50-year-old bougie bitch. I won't go over there. Like, come on.
This brew can't even say it sassy.
This
He
is
just says it. He's like, I
Favorite
just-
line
I'm
from
gay.
Pedro.
Actually, my favorite.
true.
That is an amazing line, but the best bit about that clip is the 2 gay guys in the audience which are filming it, and it goes back to it like, ah, like they're amazing. Like, yeah, I can't believe
They're
we
like-
caught the drama.
They're like, no, he did not. I'm uploading this right now.
So then, though, there was a big, massive because he has been. A lot of people have been talking about how they don't like Pedro as much. He's all over the place. Isn't he weird? Isn't all these clips coming out weird? Why does he keep talking about everything? So then Vanity Fair got together, and, you know, they always pull out the arty, no-colour stuff that actually, look, he's like, see no evil, hear no evil. And would you hurt this poor little puppy? Would you insult this puppy face? Weak,
Oh, he's just a
anxiety-ridden
50-year-old
Pedro.
bougie bish.
Have you ever seen how he
Bougie
pronounces his
bitch.
name, by the way?
How he
I put it in a
pronounces it?
video today.
No.
It's all in Spanish. I actually can't physically pronounce it the way he does.
Pedro Pascal.
It is really pretentious. It is overly flowery pretentious.
Of course.
But everyone wants a piece of Pedro. Like, they want to carve him up.
Like, can you zoom in? Sorry.
More?
Yeah, I'm blind.
I mean, it does.
We have tiny
really
screens right now. We have our laptops. So.
Everyone wants a piece of Pedro Pascal, Fantastic Four, Last of Us, materialists, where there was an entire article where she chose the wrong one because they wanted him to choose Pedro. The actor's emotional depth, on-screen exuberance have skyrocketed him to the top of every director's better wish list and made him a sex symbol in middle age.
Sorry.
I think
to
people
buy knee pads.
If people consider him a daddy, I think there's a lot of daddy issues going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Gen Z. I think it's Gen Z that's like really feeling him. Like us millennials are like, just give us Henry, you know. So Gen Z is like, he's daddy, and I'm like,
Karen. Well, that won't even load. But yeah, a funny, sad, honest talk with a star unlike any other. And this is where all the other quotes came out. So you had like Tom Cruise going, actually, he's given me faith in movies. And there was another guy, I don't know if I can find it with Control F. There's a theory about why so many people are connecting with the actor who struggled to get hired for decades. I think he's what we want in Masculinity.
What's masculine about him?
I made a video a couple of weeks back. I said he is the future of Hollywood masculinity.
I believe that.
There was lots of articles that were talking about it, confirming it, and this guy just came out and said the thing. It was like everyone else was insinuating. He's like, no, this is the future of men. I don't know whether I can find the actual.
Someone in the chat heard says, wasn't Pedro in Coupling? Was he?
I never watched it, so
me neither. So well, we know Disparu would know. He was in Buffy. I'm sorry, he wasn't.
Did he get killed?
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, he was a vamp.
I can't remember him in it, but I don't. It's only really recently that I've even begun to notice Pedro.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. The only reason
everything.
The only reason I knew is because there was like a real like that time Pedro Pascal was in Buffy, and I actually had to go back and look at the episode. And I was like, oh,
yeah. Well, he said he was basically. I think it's in this. He said he was a failed actor basically until he was 30, and he was sort of on people's sofas and everything, and it was only other people paying for him that even kept him in the industry.
Lucky him, I guess.
Vanessa Kirby loves him because he doesn't have much armor. He shows himself to you straight away, and you trust that person because he's revealing himself to you in this very brave way.
I'm so curious on what she means by brave way. Like,
she means he's a woman. That's what that quote means.
That's why they get along so well?
Yes. Well, he's emotional to you, and he trusts you, and he's sensitive and caring, and talks to you about your feelings and his feelings. Yeah, so he's a woman. That's why it's like directed Pascal in an exuberant Apple ad. What? So he's like this. He's the future of masculinity because he was in an advert that showcases the actor's joyful dancing skills. There's a unified field theory about why people are so many connecting. It's what we want in masculinity. It's not just how rugged and alive he is. It's also his cheeky, fun fashion, from chic black shorts to lipstick red Valentino in the Met Gala. We saw that. Yeah, it was like a weird, like plasticky thing with black boots. I think it was. Yeah. What is it?
Remember his?
I don't know.
His boot shorts or whatever those were. I don't really know.
The freaking fishing boots. Like I don't know what those were. Okay, all I'm saying is I like to wear red lipstick and thigh high boots. I don't think I'm masculine. I guess maybe.
Guys, I'm gonna go put my thigh highs on and red lipstick. Let me know how manly I am.
Yeah.
But it's how he bopped to Devo and about his family coming out. How smitten is the world with this actor? 2023 was the year everyone. That includes you two. No, you're included. You don't have a choice in this.
I am not.
Says everyone. Are you a human being?
Not now. I'm done.
Not right now.
I'm an alien.
Well, I mean, yes, you've self-identified as a different species, so you're not horny for Pedro Pascal.
Thank God.
Wow.
A New Yorker cartoon featured a therapist reassuring his client. It's not strange at all. Lately, a lot of people are reporting that their faith in humanity is riding entirely on whether or not Pedro Pascal is as nice as he seems.
He's probably a brat. Oh
my
God,
God.
this
He
is the
looks like-
toddler
oh,
picture. He
ew,
looks like a
ew.
freaking toddler that like peed the bed and is like needs to get changed. I don't
What
know.
is
Don't
going
look
on
right.
with this? Who decided these images and
There are a lot of pictures in this article. Oh, he's even got
gosh.
This is an interview. Yeah, there you
Dan, say hi to us too.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Chopped liver.
I know, Dan
Whatever.
That's
hates
because he
us.
shouted at me on Twitter.
Oh, that
Like,
was I was actually crying laughing because I'm just scrolling.
Wait,
I think I was
what
like drinking
happened?
he said F you
Well,
just brew and I'll
Gary,
out.
Gary,
Right?
it when he did a song for the Ripperverse, Gary said, "Congratulations, Ripper," and he came out and said, "Well, he's gave me a compliment."
Yeah, he's like Gary
I
complimented
think
me.
I think he's given Ripper a compliment. I'm like, F you, Disparu. Go away and learn like
Arabic or
Oh my
something.
Arabic or something. And I'm just like, this is why he gave a compliment to Ripper.
Oh my God. The
I was
layers of
laughing
trolling
so-
these boys go through to each other.
I wasn't expecting that because Disparu's comment made me laugh, and then I scrolled down and he's like, F you, Disparu.
I was like, in block caps. Like, this is why he doesn't compliment you.
Someone needs to
What-
give Dan a Snickers.
Pedro is floating as the savior among his loving audience. These are probably the same that all these hands will
Ew,
be on
his
him.
shirt's wet
I think
don't
he
know.
like drooled on it or something.
Well,
because of all the
somebody
guys
drooled on
touching
it.
him. Because he's got a bunch of guys.
Where's this
touching
guy's
him.
arm going?
Where's
Where's this guy's arm going? Look at that!
He looks
That arm
happy.
is getting a handful.
Oh.
And look, all the guys are near his
No, so
man
that's
parts.
his arm. Are they? One of these hands must be that. Presumably that one. That
Would
one's
be
got painted
Girl
nails.
to the right, not the white girl.
She's just stunned.
I'm touching Pedro. Oh my
There
God.
is a guy. It's like I think I can just about touch his shoulder.
He's farting on the peasants.
Always
I mean,
fart
maybe.
on the peasantry.
Always.
It's
I've
what
never
they
heard
deserve.
Disparu say the
Oh.
word fart.
Ew. Okay, this is a weird one. Come on.
I did briefly consider just photoshopping out that and using it as my Twitter avatar.
Can you put Modok on Modok's body or like Ironheart?
Yes,
I'm not that
please.
talented.
Yes, you are. Don't,
But
sell-
yeah, he's
don't
man
sell yourself
spreading.
short.
He's man spreading. That's not allowed.
He's just trying to prove that he can do that, okay?
What are the other pictures? There's just
Oh my God.
and
Ew.
again, black and white in my leather trousers.
We should
Well,
do a
everyone knows
saucy.
what leather trousers
We
mean.
should do a saucy photo shoot and just recreate.
Guys,
all these.
Someone-
Someone,
is
someone
thigh
put
highs.
Miss Bruce's face on this. I would like-
Yes, please. It's something.
Is that
the internet
iconic?
Oh
needs.
my god!
Oh no, you.
I almost got jump scared. I
Almost.
legitimately had to check to make sure nothing was showing.
No, ew.
I was getting ready to scroll very quickly.
I
Uh-oh.
questioned whoever set this shoot up. Oh,
They like it's probably a Gen Zer that calls him daddy. So
They had to get his arse. They're actually doing the Twitch streamer meta here, where, well, obviously you're supposed to be the main, but if you put a mirror in the background, you can check out
see
the
his
back.
booty.
your
Do you
Yeah.
think that's edited? Edited?
to
I
make it more
imagine all
bumbly.
these are edited.
Whoa,
Because for Vanity Fair, all of them will be touched up.
Joker
this is
pants.
the
Those
Joker.
are some
Ah,
very
thank you.
bright trousers.
Sorry, we thought we're on the same wavelength.
Oh. Did you ever want 3 Pedros before?
No, you got it.
never.
Kind of merging into each other's faces?
Not even one. Okay, guys, one is too many.
There's
I
Karen.
I do think that there is this idea that the marketing pushed this so much, and humans have this tendency to be like lemmings, where they think, "Oh, well, everyone loves this guy, so I probably should like this guy too." And so here we are now. He's been in a lot of things. He's been in Star Wars IP. He's been in he's going to be in the Marvels IP. He's been in Game of Thrones. Those are some pretty big like shows and movies. So, oh God, I want to read from the very beginning. To his friends and family, he is Papilo, Pee-Pee, Peters, and Peds.
Petters.
You couldn't say these in English. Like, they have different meanings.
Pepilo.
Papilo,
Pee-pee.
I will Papilo you.
Can you imagine that though? He comes in
Are
and
you
like,
gonna
"Oh,
read the
Pee-Pee's
next sentence?
here."
Because
Oh God,
that's the
okay,
fun one.
fine. I do it. fans on the internet famously refer to him as Daddy or Daddy, meaning he's handsome, stylish, older man they can imagine dominating them in a way they would not object to. In a 2022 video from Vanity Fair, part of the magazine's lie detector series, he laughed off the nickname. Daddy is a state of mind, he said. I'm your daddy. he was being playful, but his eye contact with the camera was so transfixing that some observers only heard the second sentence of the statement. Wow.
Of course.
They were just shocked. They had to
My
process
favorite
it.
is Bella Ramsey, where she's like, I felt worried for him. I don't want all these women to be attracted to him. It feels uncomfortable for me.
I want to protect him. He's my daddy, not yours.
Well,
like,
Yeah,
she doesn't-
get away.
She does. Well, she's his daddy, isn't she?
I mean,
they
According to
can
the
switch.
show.
They can switch.
in the show,
Well,
kinda,
on the
like-
show, she says, I'm going to be a dad. So,
I'm gonna be a dad.
But not his daddy.
well,
I mean, technically, like the dynamic is like he's got a father figure to Ellie. So, if that's what you mean,
I love after all that, simply, I'm just going to call him by his name.
I've decided to just call him Pedro.
Oh, that
Not
was his
Pee-Pee.
give up years.
That's it. I'm
They're
calling him
interesting.
Pee-Pee. Could you imagine that, like his grandma or something is like, Pee-Pee's here? I'd be so mad if someone called me that. Hi, Pee-Pee.
This is just where he was like
Cute little pee-pee.
sponging off his friends for most of his life.
No, this one looks just like too much. Like he's like, Ma, Pete to bed again. Like what the freaking
He's
heck,
at his
man.
happiest and most comfortable when people around him are happy and comfortable. He's just naturally so curious and warm. There's a sense of immediate safety with him. You're grateful to be in his light.
Sounds like they're talking about a child. Like
They could easily just
he's
say
so
the sisterhood.
curious.
This is just the gay best friend. That's what it is. All of the comments, like he's completely unthreatening. He talks to me about my feelings, and he's a man that I can actually be sensitive with without thinking there's anything else going on.
Well, Pedro is the personification of a very feminized man, and that's why they say he's so masculine, because women can feel safe around them because they don't have to worry about him hitting on you because he's not straight.
Yeah.
But he will say he is.
Stepping into my 40s, felt adult. So he's felt like a child until his 40s. And empowered.
Finally
No straight man has ever used the word empowered. Not about themselves. 50 felt more vulnerable. Much more vulnerable. And he goes around, I don't know if you've seen the interviews where he's like, I love to be dominated.
Oh, he's 50 now.
I'm like, he just says it to random journalists.
He's just
Dan,
so proud of it.
This is like the school principal trying to convince you to be friends with the gay theater kid.
Yeah, it is.
You're not wrong. This is just too much. How long do you think until Pedro like actually comes out? I'm surprised he hasn't because it's like very on trend.
I think it's his brand. Like, I think as soon as he comes out, there will be a lot of women who are like, well, he's
I don't think he'll ever come out.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like,
The
if
women
he's
that like
50
him.
already, and
Yeah.
it does seem to be. Oh well, it's the writer of this. She wrote a lot. It is women of a certain age who like him because he's a certain age, and they think they can get with him. This is his audience.
Yeah.
Now the problem he has is this is not the movie-going audience.
No.
This is she'll go and watch 50 Shades of Grey. I'm sure
So
if
she can
any
get
of
off.
those weird, absolutely borderline illegal feminist fantasy books get made into movies, she'll go and watch them as well. She's never going to watch Fantastic Four.
no.
I don't even want to watch Fantastic Four.
Like
But I
when
will.
she's on about, she's talking about the most notable book of the year. We know what book she's reading.
Oh,
We
one
know
of the
what
ones
book.
Lady G likes.
Poor lady.
Sorry, Lady G. I'm just teasing. I'm teasing.
I mean her friends, Lady G's friends.
God hurts. I
Yeah.
don't want to fix Pedro. Like if I
Any book like Lady G says the name of, I Google, and it's the most horrific stuff you've ever.
She's like, I
This is the
didn't
look
read
of
it. My
my life.
friend did.
Oh, I didn't know what the story was, and I'm just there reading the wiki page.
She's literally a
Yeah,
Karen.
she is
yeah.
literally Karen.
Oh my
she
gosh.
looks like one
Well,
too.
you know what? We'll do a cleanse and look at some super chats, and you guys can get Pedro out of your mind. I'm so sorry about that.
And then we move on to Rachel Zegler.
Yeah.
God. I mean, dunking on Rachel and dunking on Pedro, it's more fun for Rachel because she digs her own hole. Pedro, I feel like, tries to at least seem relatable.
I think
Rachel
Pedro
don't
digs
care.
his own hole. I think Pedro really enjoys digging his own hole.
Yeah.
Well,
Rachel just thinks that everyone thinks like her, and if you don't, you're, an istophobe and all those other words.
The content is just so good with Rachel.
It's gold. And she came back. We thought she was like gone, and then she just like surprise.
Have you ever looked at Rachel and thought, based? Because that's the article.
No.
I mean, maybe her eyes, because they're almost so far apart. It's at the base of her skull. I'm kidding. That's mean.
She's not as bad as the Little Mermaid one.
It's true. But, Halle Bailey is automatically hotter because she seems more earnest than.
Yeah, like she obviously
Rachel
said some stuff, but she's nowhere near. Like Rachel is at like 100 and Haley's at like 70, maybe. I don't know. I know she said a couple of things, but she wasn't going on these rants.
She was the one that did the interview with Rachel Zegler and said, "Look, you may be hating on me, but while you're typing on Twitter, I'm making a movie." And it's like, I'm just wiping off the haters. I'm like, oh, God.
I'm making a flop. Yeah.
Well, she is the fish.
I was just going to say the one scene that will always stick with me and that Little Mermaid, anytime I see her face, is when they took the, Eric saving Ariel out scene, which was a great scene in the animated feature, when she flops on the deck and just turns the thing herself. It looks so freaking funny because she's just like this. She's like, and I'm like, did they think they did something?
You
with
see
it?
her just go, ugh,
I know,
onto
she
the wheel.
flops. She
And then
flops.
just kind of uses her weight to just go over to the side.
I was like, this is supposed to be a deep scene, but I'm dying right now. I'm laughing.
Well, I like when she came out of the water and she did the aerial thing where she flips her hair back and it all hits. But because for some reason, they put her in braids. Because, if you're ethnic in these movies, they all have to put braids in them for some reason. Well, they were soaked with water, and she said someone had to carry her hair around behind her because it was so heavy with water.
It makes so much sense.
She said it was like getting whipped.
It probably hurt. Yeah.
My when I used to dance salsa, the guys that I was talking to them were like, "Oh, your hair doesn't bother us when it hits. It's some people with the thick braids or the curly hair when it hits your face or something."
It's like getting punched.
Yep. They're like, ugh.
Wow.
So poor her. It wasn't her creative decision to let her have hair like that.
Just a really bad one. But they were like, well, we don't want to straighten it because then she wouldn't. Like, I think they essentially go, what's the point of race swapping someone if you're not going to use all the characteristics?
They could have done it better.
Boxes.
They could have given her red hair. They're like, I've seen like photoshopped and even like AI things that like it looked better.
Look. Hey, in a lot of neighborhoods that I've been in that have a very similar demographic look as her, they use a lot of wigs. I've seen some of those red-haired wigs. They are gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they didn't do that. And look, they're in the water.
Budget.
Who puts braids in the water? Like, what?
Not those kind of braids. Yeah.
No, makes no sense.
Not at all. Anyways, super chat. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Ken, thank you for being a member for 12 months, 1 year. Ladies looking gorgeous. Disparu looking handsome.
Thank you.
Because I was looking at Pedro, I had to make myself look nice for him.
You wanted to look good for daddy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'll never say it again.
Guys,
that's a secret I'll take to my grave. I was one of those men.
One of Disparu's nicknames that we had for him that Arudai would say actually was Dispadaddy.
Oh, that's gonna make a comeback.
I can't even remember that one.
I just remember there was a blurb, I think, that had that with your name. I haven't heard in a while.
Guys, look, it's our favorite health minister of Belgium for $4.99. Hey, y'all. Sorry I haven't super chatted in a while. I've been fasting for 2 months straight and lost 672 pounds.
Did you just die?
Did you just come back from the dead?
There was legitimately a guy on one of those sort of fat losing shows over here. There was one where they used to put him through like an army training exercise or whatever. And this guy would just cheat and just eat loads of food all week. But then the day before he weighed in, he would starve himself for 24 hours. And he'd lose like a stone. That's how big he was. Just not eating for a day.
For those who don't know what a stone is, can you explain that?
Yeah, what's a
I
stone?
think it's like 12 pounds-ish. Something like that.
I remember.
It's a long time ago. I may be off with the start. It was a lot of weight though, and you are like, that's how much food you're consuming every day, and I don't even know how you do that. Spend all time. It was so funny though because they wanted him to do sit-ups, and he just wouldn't. And so all he did would lift his neck. That would be a sit-up.
I mean, he could blow a guy doing that exercise.
I don't know where this just went, chat.
I think it's because Pedro was on her mind. I think that's the only look.
So see, we're all getting brainwashed. Be careful, Chad. Don't look at Pedro in the eyes.
That's the plan. Yeah, Pedro will convert you. That is the creepiest part. That picture would not be as creepy if he wasn't making constant eye contact and the weird grins.
It makes you
That's
feel
what does it.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Please don't look into my soul like that, sir. Gary Thomas for 5. This conversation reminds me of North Korea defectors in South Korea. They go from having too few choices to too many, and they freeze up.
Oh, that's actually a thing. They don't know how to have autonomy, so you have to be able to give them maybe 2 choices at first because they've never had to make a choice in their life.
I see it
Yeah,
all the time. Just go into a supermarket. I guarantee you there'll be a woman just staring at food, and just watch her. Just stop.
I've done
she will
it.
stand there and just stare at the food. And like, are you dead? Are you like just standing there and you've frozen up? Are you frozen as Doctor Who here and you got stuck in a time loop? And they just
it was cutie. It's always cutie.
they're not even picking up the food. Although some of them will pick up the food and just stare at it.
It's
I
be there
stare
for a
at
good
the
5 minutes.
labels,
Yeah.
trying to look at like the least sugar input.
Yeah, but that is okay. These people will pick it up, and it's like they're reading an encyclopedia. They'll be there for ages. I have walked off to another aisle, got the whatever I wanted from it, come back, they're still there.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's hard to choose being a woman.
Yeah,
That's
wrong.
always my. I think you can tell who the people with the least to do are by how fast you walk around the supermarket. There are some people they're like, oh, this is my one trip out for the day. I'm gonna make it last. And then there's other people that's like, I want this.
I
And they just
understand
walk there.
like the older ladies, like especially if they live at like an assisted living place or something, right?
You'd think
And
they'd
then, like,
want to be faster though, wouldn't you? Because they've got less time.
well, no,
They
they're
should
like, I don't want to
spend-
go
they
back
should
and
want to
sit in my
spend waste
room.
left of their life there.
let me look at the bread for an hour.
Like, imagine getting to the pearly gates and he pulls up like your end of game graph. Like anyone that's played strategy games, you've got like one of it's like your
Oh,
net worth
the
and
time you
stuff.
spent on the toilet,
there'll
the
be
time
like a
you were
graph of everything you
sleeping.
did. Yeah, this is how long you spent just walking around Tesco.
You spent a whole 20 hours of your life just looking
It'd be
at
like
bread.
you shouldn't have even been born. That's how much time you wasted staring at ingredients. Like
You made this life
you would have
count,
lived
didn't you?
longer you would have lived longer just moving more and eating whatever the first thing you picked up was.
I've got like road rage at grocery stores because I know what I want.
I've
I
heard.
make my list. I make my list and it goes from like, produce over to what I got to get. And I'm like, get out of my way, like pushing old lady. No, I'm kidding. But really,
Oh,
this
well,
Drew's
well, no,
right. There's times that I
have you-
walk past an
Have you
aisle
ever
and there's
rammed
some
a soup?
person.
Have you ever rammed a trolley?
No.
I've rammed multiple
I've
trolleys.
been rammed. I almost got ran over by an old lady once. And I was like, okay, dang.
There was a woman at one point, she was standing there talking to her husband, and they put the trolley in the middle between them, so they legitimately blocked the entire aisle. I got halfway down the aisle, and I pushed mine.
Well,
And I
okay,
just
so
sent
I
it.
agree with
And
that.
she was
I'll
either
push
going to
you,
move,
Mike.
or it
I'll
was
push
just going
you.
to hit him.
Yeah. So there is such thing as shopping etiquette. If you stop in an aisle, and especially if there's enough room for 2 carts, move your cart to the side. Don't be an a-hole. What I usually do is I'll park the car at the end of the aisle and I'll just walk down the aisle and then I'll go around and I'll carry everything in my arms and then put it in the trolley
You
afterwards.
just Frogger it through all the carts and then get back to yours.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's just so much easier because I don't want to deal with people like in their carts. It's so annoying. Costco is notoriously the worst. That's why I don't go on weekends. It is
Mhm.
horrendous there. And depending on where you go, you got I feel like the white neighborhoods usually aren't too bad. It's
You can tell a lot about a neighborhood. Well, I don't know whether you have it over there, but over here we have where you have to put a coin in for the trolley.
Oh, yeah,
and if
yeah.
you want your coin back, you get it back. And it's always been true. You can tell a lot about an area whether they have those coin locks in or not.
yes.
It is a much nicer area if they don't do it. And if all the trolleys go back, if you're in a supermarket and there's trolleys all over the place, you know you're in a nasty area. Because
Yeah.
it's one of the things. It was considered one of the largest tests of morality is, do you put the supermarket trolley back?
Oh,
Because
that's
you
why I love
lose.
that account. What's that account called?
I don't know. I've seen, there's lots of memes about it, but it is a case of, it's a completely altruistic thing. You get nothing for doing it. No one's watching you. No one will ever comment if you don't. So it is purely, are you a good person that does stuff voluntarily or not?
Well, there's that test and the money marts.
I don't know what that one is.
It's like where you go to borrow money, but they take a portion once you're paid, and then you have to pay back, like, say you borrow $100 from them, you pay back like 120.
Oh, yeah, we would have like advanced, like paycheck advance type things. They essentially buy your paycheck before it exists.
Yeah. I don't know what that is in America or in the UK, so.
No, we used to have a name. I don't think it's very common anymore. I think I only ever heard it vaguely mentioned.
Oh, payday loans.
Payday loans. Yeah, I think payday loans took over it.
The predatory. Honestly, it is predatory lending.
Sounds like the mob.
It is worst interest than you will ever get. Like, so just be better with your money if you can.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do that. All right. Black Cane for 2 says hello.
If they walked around the supermarket faster, they'd have more time to work and not get into debt.
Life advice with Disparu.
The more you know with
this is like, you can keep super chill. Because I interrupted.
No, you're fine.
Is like when Mike's like, well, I game on the toilet. I'm like, why? You're wasting your life on the toilet. You want to be on there and off.
Don't get Disparu started on the toilet
game graph, and it's going to be like, you spent 15 years on the toilet. We might as well not have had you born.
Yeah, don't get Disparu started. He's like, if you take your phone in the bathroom, don't talk to me.
Especially don't take a touchscreen device into the toilet. You
know how many phones have like poopy on them?
Ew, yeah.
Well, it's the same reason why they say don't eat like bar peanuts, because they've tested them and there was like 17 different types of urine in them.
Here you go, Disparu.
Well, depends if you watch my Ironheart review.
Did you get Ironheart hate, Disparu?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't look at comments. What do you mean?
I probably get hate on all my videos. There's like a 3%. I can find the dislike numbers.
Oh my gosh.
I can do a word search for the comments. You want to throw random insults at me, I can see if they're there.
I sometimes like when people do those readings of it, although I think it brings in like more trolling, but some of the hate mail when you read it, you're like, this is actually funny.
So I got more dislike percent for when I was reviewing the trailer, then a little less when I was reviewing the critics' reviews, and then since it's come out, it was like 98%, and the last one's 99.1. So the more people watch it, the more they agree with me, is essentially what we found out.
They're like, wow, like, you didn't even watch it, you're judging it. Oh wait, you were right.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, people are like, you can't judge that. You haven't seen it. It's like, well, I've seen the trailer. I've read the reviews. I've listened to the interviews. I've watched the interviews. I've probably consumed every single piece of PR marketing about this show. And like, well, you can't judge it, though. Like, what is the point of PR marketing? You can't judge a show.
You're media illiterate, Disparu.
It's weird, because I seem to be the one that's watching it. They're like, yo, you can't judge it. My favorite meme is the guy who's squatting over a plate on the table. And the guy's like, can you stop crapping on my plate? It's like, well, how do you know it's crap? It hasn't come out yet.
I think it just like Superman, the marketing is crap. There are shows 28 years later. There were what, 2-3 trailers at most? How many trailers has Superman came out with? And each trailer is
Superman's released clips and everything.
It's so much. I feel like I've watched the movie at this point.
Yeah, I hate that. I miss when we used to. I know Disparu likes like more trailers, but I really do miss when you just get 1 or 2. But like they were so good that you decided if you wanted to see the movie or not. You didn't need 5 of them to decide if it was going to be good or not. Like
it should have just been 1 to 2 at most.
I think like the bigger the movie is, that they should just like release 1 or 2 like epic trailers and then leave it.
It's not more trailers that I want. It's more detailed trailers. So I am not of the group.
Fair.
There's a lot of people are incredibly, like, massively more than I am sensitive to spoilers. So they don't want a trailer to show anything. Whereas I think a trailer should basically set up the movie. So you should see all the introduction. You should know the start of the story. And so Yeah, it's like Terminator 2 shows you most of the movie story-wise. But because it's actually a good movie, the plot is kind of irrelevant. Just a guy getting hunted, and it even shows you the twist. And that's what I think. I think a trailer should be a condensed version of the movie, so that when you're sitting there, you know what you're in for. And with 28 years later, I was lied to. So even if it was a good movie, I still don't think I would have been happy with it because I was lied to. The only time that's ever been pulled off was Cabin in the Woods. Because
the twist.
Yeah.
Well, Cabin in the Woods is almost like 2 movies in one, but the trailer for that is nothing like the movie. It is very mystery based. It shows you like the motorbike hitting a shield. Like, what on earth is happening? And it shows you a cabin, but it doesn't really give you any idea what even genre of movie you're watching.
Like, it's just literally the title, Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah,
there we go.
It was a mystery box trailer, but that works when you then answer it in the movie. So you can do that, but I like to know at least the setup. So I think by now, with the amount of trailers, we should know who Superman's fighting, who the villains are, what the villain's doing to him, and then you watch the movie to see how Superman handles it. But we don't know anything. I'm going into a movie utterly blind, and I think the trailers are lying to me by what people have said.
Well, and what the marketing we're seeing for it is just like Superman being so negative, like in general, just whining, crying, and yelling at people because it seems like he's not getting his way. Which, I mean, to be fair, I probably would do the same. But like, I also want just to be teased about what will happen, not just seeing him being upset and being interviewed and upset.
I think you can put 2 and 2 together by, we know it's social media, so, and I know someone's leaked the plot or whatever, I've not read it, so I'm just going off my theory. I think there will be a build-up where, because you saw Lex recording it for social media, so that's probably been happening a lot. Lex is putting through various different events. He probably started the war that we've seen him stop in the trailers. And he's slowly pushing him to his limits, and what we're witnessing is the end of that. But that's just a mistake to market.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that in that scene, Lex looks the best. Because he utterly plays all the power dynamics. He doesn't move. And when he grabs that cup, every time I've watched that trailer, I've laughed at that point. I just think it's an amazing... Because he sees him go for the table and just like that. It's so good. But I've seen when people are like, well, Superman is emotional and he can do all this. I'm like, well, you do really... If you're saying that, if that's what you want to pitch, Lex is correct. You are now pushing the villain's point of view. And I think that's bad storytelling. But if Superman is just an emotional cuck who will lose it at anything, somebody hurts his dog and he just goes around slaughtering people, you can't have that. Either Superman is stoic, or he needs to be locked up under kryptonite and not allowed to move. Yeah. Because he is too dangerous. It's like with X-Men when people are like, well, it's racism. It's like, no, because those X-Men are legitimately apocalyptic powers. So they cannot just be allowed to go around doing whatever they want. They can control people's minds. You know, you can't be allowed freedom when you have that much power. You are too dangerous to the rest of the population.
Yeah, and I mean, there are comics where Superman loses his cool a bit. The Injustice games where Lois dies and he goes on a murder spree and you got to take him down. So there is times where it's like that. But I mean, in the movies like this, and just like you said, if they're showing us the end of what took him to get to that point, that is not good marketing. And I've heard some people say like, oh, maybe it's like the beginning and he's learning to be this or that. But it's like, by the time he puts on the suit, he's supposed to be cool, calm, collected, and stoic. So that's the point that people are trying to, make with these trailers. Like, I want it to be good. If I'm proved wrong, I'll be happy, but I don't know.
I want it to be good.
I want it to be, I know, so bad. So I am going to go see it. We'll definitely be reviewing it here on Saucy. It's coming out soon, a couple weeks. But I don't like the way that they're doing the trailers. Like, it's not giving me what I want from a Superman movie.
I'm not as attached to Superman as a character as lots of other people. So I can watch Man of Steel, and I don't care if he kills people. The central lore of him doesn't matter. So I could get involved in any kind of type of Superman. If you want a Superman that just goes murderous, be like, oh, okay, whatever.
Homelander, we already got that.
Well, yeah, but like there are stories. He kills the Joker, sets everything off. I wouldn't mind a story like that because I'm not attached to any particular version of Superman. So I don't think that would ruin the movie for me. I think what would destroy the movie the most for me is James Gunn's sense of humor.
I mean, James Gunn being in the marketing sucks.
Yeah, but I Guardians worked for Guardians, and even then I only liked the first one. I never saw the third because I thought the second one was so awful. And I look at his IMDb page, and I only like the first Guardians.
Yeah.
And so I think if he brings that to a Superman movie, and from the clips I've seen, it is in there, we just don't know what to degree. I think that will ruin the tone for me more than having a version of Superman where either he is good, or he is dark, or he is just an angry cow. I think it's the humor that will disrupt that tone for me, rather than anything else. I think I like Lex, as long as he keeps what we saw in that clip. And I have a feeling I'm going to despise Lois.
And I hate that because I thought that like that actress has what it takes to portray a good Lois, but I said from the beginning it's about the writing.
It might not be her fault. The writing
and
the director.
Well, if they do it where she's supportive of him, and it's just that scene, and it's not very long, okay. But I would much prefer Lois be supportive of Superman. Of you've got to save the world, it's a tough job, I'm going to be here for you to help. Rather than just berating him. And you could, kind of, if she... So if... I think the only way it works is if Lex has been testing him, and she knows it, because she knows the media, and she knows that they are absolutely going to lynch him when they next see him. So she is essentially...
preparing
hitting him so that when they hit him, he's prepared for it. And I think that works, but I think it also only works if you know that's what she's doing before it happens. Because if she's just a cow to him and you don't know what's going on, that's not going to be a good look.
I won't like that because she's supposed to be, you know, like that, like where she's rough with him and, you know, but she's supposed to be extremely supportive. Like she's sassy, she's strong-willed. Like that's just how Lois Lane is. She does ask the hard-hitting questions.
Super woke and
yeah. I hope
there are times where slapping somebody is good for them. So
well, you like it if he just smacks the crap out of her, like shut up.
No, I don't mean physically. I mean like mentally. Like when you hear that somebody's got involved with like illicit substances, or they've got involved in crime, and the parents throw them out. Like, well, that is tough love. So there is a time where her doing tough love because she knows the media better than he does, and she's like
it's her expertise.
The slip up of being off the record. She hopefully. And that's not shown. That's not in the clip. It kind of like she's sticking to the rules a bit much. But she is sticking to the rules like another journalist would, and he's talking to her as if she's a friend. So she could be just hardening him up to that. But
it's all about context, and we don't have the context. We just see the clip of them starting this interview, and then
they shouldn't have shown us that without the.
I wish they wouldn't have.
I think trailers should be mini movies because then you have the context and you know what's happening. I think all these 60-second clips from various different parts of the movie hurts more than helps.
And I feel like we've watched the movie in its entirety at this point. Like I don't
because we haven't seen a lot of the other actors. We've seen a bit of Lex, Lois, and Superman, but there's a whole different team in the movie that we barely see.
There's a whole bunch of evil people. I don't know which one's the main big bad.
I imagine it's Lex controlling all of them.
Probably.
I'm
trying to think like, so I don't know if you guys, Disprove or X-Ray have a favorite, maybe the chat. I'm sure some people in the chat have it. I haven't really, besides maybe Smallville, I liked that Lex, but I think my favorite is from the Superman animated series because he was just very, you know, he was scary, but it wasn't like overdone, like where it was like campy, you know, like where he was like the businessman that got stuff done, and it was just, he, you know, obviously hated Superman, and he stayed cool, calm, and collected too, like while he was doing this nefarious stuff. You know, and the thing is, like with Superman and Lex, it's supposed to be like Batman and the Joker, right? Like where Lex really knows how to get under Superman's skin, just like the Joker can really get under Batman's skin. So I think that is what they're trying to portray in these trailers. But again, just the bits and pieces that they're showing us aren't the right ones for a trailer. It's not putting the pieces together correctly, and it's making us like, why is he acting like such a baby? You know, they're only showing us like, they're showing him throwing like temper tantrums, and that's it, is what it seems like. Like when he gets hit with any conflict, he gets really angry, and I don't like that.
But you also have James Gunn's comments where he's like, oh yeah, well, Lex is using social media against Superman, and that's actually like when I was cancelled by social media. Like, I don't care about you. You
I
mean
know how
nothing
he
to me.
feels.
Shut up.
Why are you self-inserting yourself in this movie? You're not Superman. Oh,
Yeah. It's
It's
really
like with any of
annoying.
them, like you can tell a personal story, but the story shouldn't be about you. You should be using your knowledge of how it happened and what you do to it to enhance the story, but you shouldn't be in it. And you shouldn't be thinking about you're in it. This is why I don't like the dog being his dog. Because now everything in the movie will be him putting his dog in the movie, so it's never gonna die.
but he couldn't crack Superman until he like thought about crypto, which also is so silly.
It's like you can love your dog, and you can use that to write somebody that loves their dog. But the dog should never be your dog.
Yeah, no, see, the thing is, if in that scene, like, I get it, he's inserting himself with the dog. I don't get that. I don't like that. But I
He
mean,
seems to be
like,
inserting himself with
if
everything, though. That's the
he
problem.
is. But like, okay, think of that scene. I would have taken it differently if he would have like taken Lois, like where, like, you know what I mean? That had a bit more meaning to see him like freak out
So
like
if
that.
Superman put Lois on a leash,
Well, sure.
he's like, get
That's
down
their
on your knees
kink,
and
okay?
bark.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's the end
judging.
of the interview. She like dominates him through the entire interview, and then he's like, "No, you're going on a leash now."
Damn.
I mean, if Lex would have taken Lois, it would have maybe made a bit more sense to see him freak out like that. But he's like, "Where's the dog?" It's like, okay, James Gunn, sit down.
He's like, "Do you mean Crypto or Lois?"
I know. Pick one.
Why not both?
It's like the dog going for a walk. Yeah, Crypto's got it.
If Lois is referred to as a dog, could she be referred to as a
biatch?
Yes.
How Pedro likes himself to be called?
Is she is she bougie
She's
though?
a bougie. Yeah, she would be. She's married to Superman. They seem to be in a high up penthouse during that interview. So
Aren't they in like some form of like New York-esque? Those
Yeah,
apartments are
metropolis.
expensive.
very
Yeah.
high up. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
on a journalist salary as well. This is how you know it was set in the past.
Hey, it's so true though. It's hard to live these days. I remember watching like I forgot what YouTube channel it was. What you can get for your dollar amount in different cities, and New York is just abysmal. It's a closet. Some places it's shared bathrooms and showers.
I periodically fall down like houses for sale videos, and
Yeah.
there are entire channels dedicated to New York ones. They are the worst places that I've seen.
Scary.
Like UK stuff is very expensive. It's still better than the New York stuff. They just take any building and try and convert it to as many places as possible.
Yeah.
And so they're all like really weird. Like the flats are just really long and narrow, and then they try and build in multiple floors with ladders and stuff. It's weird.
And I will say this: Japan does the same thing, but they make
Theirs
it
are
look
just
cozy. They make it look functional too. Their furniture is made for small spaces if you do live in a small space. So whereas the New York ones, they just look like they're cockroach infested and creepy.
Yeah,
gross.
Japan's stuff as a culture, because they're all in small enclosed places, has evolved specifically around that. So like they dry their clothes on a washing line in the bathroom because it's designed with the extractor fan and everything. So they actually build the places for that to happen. And there's a lot of space saving things like that on there. But yeah,
okay.
I very periodically fall over and just end up watching houses in different countries.
It's easy to like fall down random rabbit holes.
Yeah, sometimes my feed will be like, I stayed in the most expensive hotel in Dubai. And then I'll watch one video and there's just hotel recommendations from around the world in my feed.
Your algorithm must be insane between the animal videos, all the videos that you do for research, and then on top of that,
It works quite well for me because when you watch a new video, it just spams you with stuff. But that's how I watch things anyway. I get very in-depth in topics for a short amount of time, binge as much as I can, and then move on. So the algorithm kind of plays to that naturally.
Yeah, mine's all over the place.
I
but
get
all right.
mostly animal videos and pop culture, and then I get like old ancient history.
Just gotta mix everything.
My animal videos are on more like Twitter than YouTube.
Oh, absolutely.
I know, because
these
you
people are
randomly send them to
long-form
us.
Yeah.
Puppy
I love
videos and
it.
stuff.
I love it. It's so cute.
It is.
This
All
is how we
right.
all related to each other.
Yeah, puppy videos. Everyone likes those. Okay, let me get a couple super chats here. We're falling behind, guys. Sorry.
Sorry.
Jim Watari for 10. Happy B-Day, psychotic mongoose. Oh my gosh, I almost didn't say that right. And I'm not even drinking. Gary Thomas for 2. Wait, I thought Trump was daddy now. I'm confused. Oh no, it's okay. He's the real one, Gary.
He's daddy of America.
He's America's daddy. Minor Zircon for 2. Tate?
Oh,
What?
terrorist.
Twitch.
Oh,
terrorist.
It's for gay.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay, got it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say any
It's
of these
actually
words on
really
YouTube,
clever.
which is it is.
I totally didn't get that. Thank God you're here.
Yeah, thank you. We need Disparu to decode
Translation?
things.
Well, that's because I
Yeah.
know Twitch, so that is also my opinion.
Thank you, Minor Zircon. Vim Moran for 20. Hello, shoe on head. Zoo on head. I don't know if that's how you say it. Wicked and Disparu. 38 today. Not drinking. It is insane heat here. So hot that one has to cosplay as an alpha from 28 years later. Anyway.
It's like all the heat has gone there to try and get as far away from the
Oh
body
my
as
God.
possible and cool down.
Did you wear a prosthetic down there, Simran?
It doesn't need a prosthetic. Like, the blood surging there to calm down it is.
When blood surges there, it doesn't. Well, maybe. Okay.
My favorite thing about that, though, is when the director came out and went, no, it was all prosthetics. But it was the reasoning behind it. He said, because the child labor laws. So he was essentially going, we would have had them just swinging free, but there were kids on set. So that's the only thing
We
that
had to cover
protected
up.
us from
No.
having to
To
actually
be fair,
have
it
it
does
real.
sound really gross to walk around naked around a kid.
It does.
Well, yeah, and completely illegal. But I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about that being a reason why they couldn't do it.
Well, and the funny part is because it wasn't like, sexual in nature, I feel like it shouldn't bother people. But then
It should
when you put
completely bother you. It is very weird.
Well,
and
no,
anyone that tries
yes.
to do it should not be
I
allowed
think
to.
in the movie, because I felt like in context it made so much sense. If you're doing that naturally just on the street, that's pretty freaking weird.
The reason why it's weird in the movie is because you could easily not do it, which means that you made a conscious decision to do it because it's not necessary for the setting. There were loads of times where the guy's just running along and they pan down deliberately to it, but that's completely unnecessary. And yeah, in other movies, zombies may have been naked, but the camera was never shot that way.
No.
So we know full well you can film this stuff without showing it. So if you do show it, it's a conscious choice.
They wanted to show the phallus in all its.
It was a very strange part of the movie. It was a very strange. I'm surprised it didn't have more commentary, to be honest.
So I can't judge it.
Don't see it.
Don't see it.
You're scared of the peen.
I'm scared. But happy birthday, Vimran. And also, you asked, is there anything coming up that you're looking forward to?
F1. I want to see that tomorrow.
F1, F1's good.
I know a lot of people have seen it and loved it. I saw Kara's in the chat. Hi, Kara.
Hi,
watched
Kara.
it. Drinker watched it. Gary watched it. All loved it. I think Ryan watched it. So you watched it too, right?
I don't think Ryan had seen it yesterday.
Oh, at least
on
yesterday.
FNT.
Okay.
So he might have seen it now. I saw it. I was surprised by how much I liked it because Formula One is a bit boring to me. I used to like it. Well, I used to watch it around more the Schumacher times when he was like winning everything, and they started to put in rules to try and make him not win all the time. And it kind of slowed it down. All the overtaking stopped. The crashes stopped. It got way safer, and that takes away a lot of the kind of the tension in the thing. That is put back in the movie, and so it is not realistic, but I think it needed to not be realistic to make it entertaining.
Is there a crash in the movie? I want to feel represented.
There's loads.
Yes.
It is kind of farcical how many there are, but I say that in a good way.
Okay. I'm excited to see it.
It is the story. Like I didn't really understand why people were like, well, it's kind of Top Gun Maverick-y, but it is in the layout.
That makes me want to see it. I love Top Gun Maverick.
And Brad Pitt carries the movie. Brad Pitt is awesome.
I mean, Brad Pitt has been a great actor so far. His body of work usually hits. And yet, what's the last movie he did before this? I don't even actually know.
Was it Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Was that the last one he did? I didn't see that one actually.
Maybe.
Surprisingly, I wanted to, never did.
Hey,
I don't know.
Kara's making fun of me. Strategic crashes, not the extra girl type.
One of Brad Pitt's favorite movies for me is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I really
I love that
Wolf
movie.
of Wall Street, Shutter Island. Oh my gosh.
That's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wait, so I'm mixing them up.
There's a cut.
She's like, all white boys look the same to me.
The bear one. Sorry, I was thinking bear versus wolf.
That's all. Wait, are you thinking of the Revenant?
That's an entirely different title.
That's also Leonardo
Bear versus wolf on Sheep Street.
Let me pull up his body of work. Oh no, there's the diamond one. What's the diamond one called? No, the Vegas heist. Oh my god,
Ocean's 11.
Yes, thank you. That's also there's a diamond one with Leo DiCaprio.
Completely unrelated as a name, as a genre with actors. From Wolf of Wall Street.
That's what
How do we get from Wolf of Wall Street to Brad Pitt and a bear to Ocean's 11?
But it was also Leonardo DiCaprio.
Where did the bear come into this?
It's also Leo DiCaprio.
That was in Revenant when he fights the bear.
Oh, I thought you were like, well, there's a wolf, then there's a bear, and now there's an ocean. I was like, well, but no, in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, there's a cut scene that's on the DVD where they're in a supermarket and just all fighting everything. The best scene in the movie, and they cut it out. Really annoying. This is why in the movie there's a scene where they go in the elevator, the doors open, there's a load of people, and they just close the doors and go back up. There's an entire action scene that's cut out of that section.
I do like Maker's Mark. I was actually just looking through some of this, and he's done a lot of producer roles.
Brad Pitt?
Like, yeah, because I was like, he wasn't in Mickey 17, but he was apparently an exec producer for it.
I didn't watch that.
A lot of those are kind of will fling you some money because maybe you gave your contacts or something. I don't really pay attention to the producers.
And so
much.
his last acting role. Oh God, producer. Here, maybe I should just share this.
I would just go.
instead.
There's an actors section underneath.
Oh well, this is how much I use
I
it.
would entirely ignore producers.
So cool.
Yeah, if you go up to the top there where it says producer and just click the arrow, it closes it. Where it says previous, there's an. Oh God, what are you doing?
I don't know.
I mean, know. The Maker's Mark's hitting.
Okay, 96 previous. There you go. So Formula One Wolves. Is that what you were thinking of?
No, maybe.
Maybe. Well, I've not even heard of most of
Bullet
these.
Train. Okay.
I heard that was really good.
I didn't watch Lost City. God, there's a lot of movies I didn't. Let's see. This is the only one I could think of too. Was the last one.
But yeah, in Formula One, going back to anything that isn't Brad Pitt's previous movies, his very first scene is immediately like, I like the character from his first shot. That's how well because I hate how now they're like, well, we've had 9 episodes, so we had to introduce the characters. In this, they introduce his character in maybe 15 seconds, and I already liked him. And you'll know immediately because he is just calm straight away, and then it cuts to something, and the moment it cut, I was like, this guy's awesome.
I want to be this guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's
maybe
not
I'll
that.
Go see it.
It's back to what I keep talking about, that you need masculinity in movies, and that moment is the masculine part of a movie that wouldn't be another. Be like, oh, you can't do that, it's really mean. It's like, no, that is how you would behave.
If it's mean, you should do it.
Like, it is the ultimate, this guy is, and they have to do that because he's a risk-taking character, and you can't, to be a risk-taking character, you have to be a masculine man. You can't be the soft, sensitive Pedro Pascal and take risks. It doesn't work. Because you're playing an effeminate character then. So they had to show him being willing to go all in on things for the movie to work. And that's what you need in movies. If you want good movies, that's what you're going to have to get back to that kind of gender role.
Yeah, I agree.
I miss it. I miss those days. Now we got Daddy Pedro, Daddy Pee-Pee.
Yeah, like, can you imagine Pedro Pascal doing Die Hard? I think that is the test, right? Can they do Die Hard? If not, if you can't see him crawling through a vent, taking on 15 people one by one.
Oh, I'm sure he'd like to take 15 people.
Well,
on his
specifically.
Knees.
1-on-1. 15 on 1.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Wait, hold on a second. Staccato just drops 20 gifted memberships. She just hit the mic.
Sorry,
I wondered
I'm
what
sorry.
it was then. I had to check.
I apologize.
He's like, there's something unplugged. Thank you.
Is it because I said daddy pee-pee? No, I'm kidding.
And speaking of that, we will catch up on super chats, guys. Here we go.
I did tweet out Pedro Pascal
My bad.
propaganda and then realized it's great alliteration.
Thank you, Staccato. Diz the Jizz for 2. Make a Disparu on Pedro Poe's meme calendar. I'd buy it. X-Ray would probably buy it too. Your face on like a calendar that's just your face on all of Pedro's poses for 12 months out of the year. You know, calendar.
I mean, we could also do.
Did you see the Ryan
per day?
AI
no.
with the hands?
I don't have that clip.
It's underneath the FNT tweet, Gary's FNT tweet, because that's where I
did not
first saw
see
it.
Let me find it.
Grizzly Bear Wrestler Maz is back again with a 99-cent super sticker. Thank you.
Cheers.
Lexicon Hellhound for 2. Haley B was cool when she accepted her Razzie. Did she get a Razzie for the Little Mermaid?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Dork for £5. After last week, I will get the right author. Disparu, look up the Powder Mage trilogy by Brian McLennan. Powder Age trilogy.
Here, I got it. I got the good internet so tweet.
Far. Okay.
Brian.
Oh my god, why does it fit?
Yeah.
It's really creepy, and he just seems to love it so much.
It's even creepier with Ryan's face. I'll leave this up. Do you have it? Did you look it up?
I've got the author's page up. Yeah.
Okay. Before I unstar, I know I go too fast and I unstar things. Then we gotta go look up.
Well, I was also looking for Pedro Pascal saying his own name, so yeah, it's good if I'm like.
Southeastern Kaiju for 2 says, make Dispadaddy great again.
Oh, God.
I don't even remember that. I remember Disparu.
Disparu.
Or Disparu, whatever it was.
Dispy Wispy was my first, I think, nickname for you.
Yeah.
I think I like Sasparu because Sasparu comes out at least once a month.
That's yours, yeah. Oh, and we're in the Dispacue every week.
every week for at least
I love it.
minutes.
I love it.
Lexicon Hellhound for another 2. Disparu, read Vlad Talto's series by Stephen Brust.
Hang on, Pedro Pascal saying his own name in my ears.
Sorry, he's getting brainwashed.
He's got Pedro in his ears.
You're about to have Pedro Pascal coming in your ears.
Ew. Come on.
What?
Words I never thought Disparu would say to me.
Have you never seen? I think it's Steve Coogan. But he did. I can't remember his character's name. But he did it was a comedy radio show, and it was always like, "This is." I need his name to know the proper name.
I need his name to know the proper name. Okay.
Yeah, but it's the part of the line. This is Chorley FM coming in your ears.
Oh. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't want a radio show to tell me that.
Yeah, I'm good. Ew, Staccato.
You're so naughty right now. What the heck?
Well, look what happened when Pedro comes in. We had too many pictures of him up in the chat.
When Pedro comes
We're gonna have
ears,
Pedro coming in our ears. Pedro is about to arrive completely in your ears.
No,
I don't want that.
Yeah,
oh God, that face too.
You're gonna have to tell me if you hear the audio because it's in quiet.
Balmaceda Pascal. Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal.
You have the audio?
Okay.
Yes, it's Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal. Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal. Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal. Yes,
my
full
God.
name is Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal. Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal. I said Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal.
Jose Pedro.
My favorite is where he says it.
Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal. I said
yeah, that is correct.
Pascal.
All the rest
it's
is
Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal.
That's just pretentious. You're just a pretentious git.
Jose Pedro Pipig Pascal.
I will give him this. He had a glow up from some of those like that. He had a huge glow up.
Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal.
To that.
Jose Pedro Balmaceda.
Yeah, well, that's just they say. Well, it was like was it Sean Connery? People look like Sean Connery in the 70s.
Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal.
Why do you keep playing? I am not clicking it.
Is it TikTok?
Like,
TikTok
yeah.
likes to autoplay. I don't know
why. Did you get this one, Disparu? Vlad Taltros by Stephen Brust.
I did. I've got that up. Yeah.
Okay.
Next
See,
to
I'm trying not
Brian
to
McClellan.
unstar things too fast because then you're like, I didn't get it. Sorry. Psychotic mangas for £2. Actually, the blurb version was Daddy Roo.
Daddy Roo.
Daddy Roo.
He sounds like a
don't know that
kangaroo.
one.
So he's a squirrel, so you know.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah. I used to watch a channel a long time ago.
Thank you for the $9.99, Iris. Did you guys see the story of Michaela Rains, a YouTuber who ran a fox rescue? She was a victim of online bullying. I haven't heard our sphere talking about it yet, but it's a huge story. Yeah, didn't she self-delete because
self-deleted.
Now the husband did say she had like a history of like a load of previous mental conditions.
Usually
so she was particularly vulnerable to it at the time. But yeah, it is a case of if you're that big a channel, you're gonna have people coming after you. And you have to learn to adapt to it.
Yeah.
Or you need to just stop reading it.
Or you need
don't
to
be
just
online.
not be online, because if you can't handle it and it leads
because it became like she wanted to run a fox sanctuary and that was how she ran it. That was where the money for the fox sanctuary came from. So you don't have it, like that is your job.
She didn't have a
choice.
choice.
Things in your job that you have to deal with and you have to learn how to deal with, and you can just not look at any of it. That's purely an option. And whereas she was going the other way around, from what I read, she was going on things like Reddit and trying to defend herself to him. It's like, you don't understand.
Don't
these
feed
people
the trolls.
These people want to hurt you. That is their aim. That is their goal. They are not nice people. Lots of people seem to think that everyone's just like them, and they're just misunderstood, and they're like, oh, if only I can get through to them and speak to them with logic, then they'll understand. No, they don't want logic.
No, there's some people who literally want to watch the world burn, and they want to hurt people because that satisfies something dark in them. And if that happens in real life, what do? And it's just the internet is a personification. Being behind a keyboard just makes it easier to do things like that. Whereas if someone said an insult to me down the street, I wouldn't care. If it was about someone in my family or my friends, I might do something about it at that point, but that's just me.
I think it's more the quantity. So I've said before, we were born to be in little tribes of 50 people. And so it was important that you paid attention to what those 50 people thought, because if they didn't like you, they could eject you from the tribe and then you were dead. So it was good in evolutionary terms to want people to like you. When you get on the internet and there's 50,000 people from across the world giving you comments every day, you're still coded to pay attention to those negative comments. You were not evolved for the internet, and so you have to mentally overcome that and come up with your own way of coping with it, whatever it is. But a lot of people seem to think, like, no, they can just behave as if they were a 12th century peasant. It's like, no, you're in a different world. You are not evolved for this one. We are the people which will go forth into the future with the new coping strategies for the digital world. This is why my theory is that all the birth rates collapsing all over the place. Because essentially you are witnessing a mass cull of bad ways of behaving. And only the people that can adapt to the new situation will be the ones that breed, pass on their genetic traits, their behavioral traits by their genetics to other people, and they will be better adapted for the digital realm and technology.
I mean, this is just for anyone in general on the internet. I think that where we should draw our value is from your close friends and family, not from the random person who's seen 10 seconds to maybe at most 20 minutes of your life. That's not who you are. No. Let the people who know you best tell you and check you.
Well, also you find that if somebody doesn't know you, they're going to try and guess what you're sensitive about. So they pick low-hanging fruit, or they'll project their own weaknesses onto you. And like one thing is they'll say something really vague in the hope that you interpret it in the way that hurts you the most. And it is a case of once you see all through all this stuff, you kind of know the various... There actually isn't that many ways of insulting people. There isn't that many strategies. So there are many ways. My favorite one is if you just leave low-hanging fruit somewhere, something's really obvious about you, that people will just... And if it's... Have it be something you don't care about. And then people will insult that and you don't care about it. But because they would care about it, they will go for whatever's the most obvious thing. It's like when people insult something in your background. Like, you do realize every single thing in my background I've put there.
I wouldn't
put it there.
I'm not
if
offended.
I was bothered about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. just how the internet is. They pick something. It's kind of like going back to like the playground days, right? Like when there was a bully and like you have
exactly
glasses
that.
and they're like, oh, you're 4 eyes. And it's like, okay, sorry, I'm blind. What do you want me to do? Like, I mean, but like kids get sensitive about that stuff, right? And that's why like on the internet, if you're really sensitive and you do want to do this, you have to just not read comments because like this brew just pointed out, you can get 100 good comments, but that one, especially if you're really sensitive, it's gonna stick out to you and it's gonna bother you.
We're all coded to pay more attention to like the negative comment than the 100 good ones. That just happens. But there is also a case of she was just a woman raising a fox sanctuary.
Yeah, she was trying to get money.
I don't think she should have to come up with like protection mechanisms because she's just doing a nice thing. There's nothing negative in her stream. She's just raising foxes. Like me, I sling it. So I should expect it back. It would be weird otherwise. But I do think it's like, she shouldn't have to do that, but that is just the way the world is.
There's reality, unfortunately.
It's like, But it would be very strange if I complained about people insulting me with my videos.
I know you're insulting everyone, and then someone comes to you and you're like, you know what? That play
the first 10 seconds now. Of MILF Manor.
Well, I kind of enjoy
slag.
I see it more like a battle of wits. I kind of like the trading of barbs. It's like it's a test. Like, can you come up with something immediately that responds? Do you know enough about psychology to know which buttons to push? I think there is interesting play there. I used to be more interested in it when I was younger. I used to do it a lot more when I was younger. And then as I got older, I just don't have the energy anymore. So that's why I'm like, just insult me, I don't mind. But you can always tell if I'm in a certain mood. And my Twitter feed is just like...
Oh my God. You know your Disper is like bored or doesn't want to work on something based on his Twitter tweets.
Yeah, but they skyrocket in volume at certain times.
It's great.
I tell people about this, that like, people in my personal lives that don't watch me online and stuff, about Disbrew's grandma and the poison sandwich line. And they're like, I love that. I'm going to use that. I'm like, that's Disbrew's grandma. Was it your grandma or your mom?
No, I do understand what you mean. Yeah,
when you said like the backhanded compliment.
Poison compliment.
Yeah.
It has. Well, the thing is, and I didn't realize the difference. So I'm not having a go at anyone for not realizing, but you always kind of assume that Americans and British people are quite similar. We're not at all. But it's only when I started doing YouTube and I spent more time around Americans, I realized the difference between them. And one of it is, America's a low context culture because you've got people from all around the world over there. So you say what you mean so that everybody knows. England's high context. So we have really subtle commentary about things, which would be like, my favorite is the Queen when someone said something and she went, recollections may vary. And she's just going, you lying slag. It was essentially what she said. But it's like, no, it's just really, our memories might be different on that one. It's like, it's the way all of our stuff is.
Uh-huh.
Ian,
he's home.
Are you home? Are you home? How was your trip?
How was your trip? I want to hear about this.
He said, I hate the speaker in Disper's background. What's that for, idiot? Holy moly!
It's like, I wonder which one he hates. Like, no, it's so weird doing it backwards.
He's got all of them. And
it's like, no, I just hate the left one.
Staccato with 100. Extra girl, you are looking extra smoking hot tonight. He's always smoking hot.
Thank you. It's the right-sided camera look versus my left. I think
I look like I'm being held.
Which is your best side?
I look like I'm being held hostage.
People are supposed to be symmetrical.
I'm in a tent. It's okay.
It is the case that once you notice that Hollywood celebrities have a weird feature, so maybe their eyes are too far apart, or maybe one's higher or lower than the other, and you suddenly watch them in pictures, and they always tilt their eyes so it all evens out, and then they go face on. You're like, oh my god, like a jump scare.
Like Pedro Pascal in his underwear. You don't know.
When I'm scrolling, and I legitimately had to check to see if he was showing something.
Well,
there was I was like, oh no.
Thank you for saving us, because if you wouldn't have checked and it would have been bad, the whole stream would have been
I only noticed on stream. I'd not scrolled the article before. I just assumed in Vanity Fair it would all be above board. But I wasn't expecting to see his naked legs, let alone anything else.
I don't want to see
little bit of shirt peeking out. My favorite is, do you remember what's the guy? The guy that did The Mask and Liar Liar.
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. He did a movie where he was God. In
Bruce Almighty.
In one of those posters, he's there and he's completely starkers, and there's a cloud covering him to keep his dignity. And he was on an interview over here, and he said, "Yeah, I did have to ask them to Photoshop out something just peeking out from above the clouds. We had to extend it a bit more to cover my dignity."
I mean, he's just flexing at that point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a joke as well, but it was a good joke.
I would have died laughing if X-Ray would have been like Brad Pitt instead of Jim Carrey.
Sorry, no, it's Leo DiCaprio.
Oh my god!
I liked his rendition of The Mask.
I saw a comment recently. It was in a newspaper article that he has now got with a 27-year-old woman.
Again,
and it was just with the tweet that said, what was it? This is It's either this is inflation or another sign the economy is screwed. It was just.
It's the tariffs, okay? He had to add the tariffs.
When he breaks the 25-year-old barrier, that's a sign the apocalypse is coming, lads.
Carlos Lima, this was stepson for 2. That's like his full name. My favorite trio on YouTube. Let's get saucy.
We say Carlos Lima, but he's probably got some really pretentious way of saying it.
Jose like, Carlos Lima Balenciaga.
M can't be a U fan for 2. I prefer Paparoo. Ooh.
It's better than Daddy Roo, to be honest. Paparoo at least rolls off the tongue a bit more.
It does. Oh. That's what Patreon said.
Even as I thought about it, it's like, no, that's a saying. I can get away with that one. It's like, okay, no.
We find a way. Health Minister of Belgium for $4.99. Imagine me as Silver Surfer surfing in the barrel, running over Pedro Pascal.
Do you think you could get off the ground, or would you just need you'd have to be dragged by elephants across the ground?
You need
the only way they can get you into
flight.
space is to slowly rotate the Earth until you flew off.
Oh, you know what? Maybe that's her power. She just rotates the Earth around her.
Maybe she is the Earth.
Oh,
we're getting deep here.
Actually, the bit of her body that you see sticking up is just stuck in one location, and the rest of the Earth is just like arse.
We're horrible.
It's not my fault she's fat.
Oh my god.
Very correct.
Black Cane for 5. If you see a payday loan, a cash for gold, and a liquor store in the same strip mall or on the same block, you are in a rough neighborhood.
You forgot a hair place too.
Oh yeah, don't forget that.
Over here,
random,
it's like
random hair place.
Over here, that would also include Turkish barber, vape shop.
Oh
yeah. Don't forget the vape shop. That's true. Smoke shop, vape shop.
American candy store.
American, really?
Yeah, because over here, those are basically money laundering operations.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. They're well known, but the government does nothing about them.
Wow.
There was a little town. It had like 450 people in it. It had 62 Turkish barbers.
62?
Yeah, because they're not businesses. They're money laundering operations. They don't need people coming in and having their hair
not
cut.
62
They're
barber
all
places.
the same because having your hair cut is a cash operation. So
yeah,
there's no credit records.
It's like Breaking Bad with the car wash and nail salons and.
I could name various stores where there's a sign in the front that says cash only. Never go in them.
Don't go in them.
No, well, there was a thing recently. American tourists went into London, went into a candy store, and got charged like £19,000 for a few sweets because the prices are so high to make sure nobody goes in them. But American tourists don't know. Only the
They're
locals.
dum-dums,
Yeah.
I guess. Damn.
Wow. Lance, thank you for the 5. Personally, I think Ironheart is the perfect avatar of Black America. A white
I'm not even
reaching off the success of white men. Oh my gosh, Lance, you just went all in with that one, huh?
I was gonna say I'm not even sure you can read that one.
I can. I didn't say anything bad.
You should let it. Right. I think
Yeah.
We're just reading a super chat.
Yeah, we're just reading the super chat.
That is a great
Lance went off with
description
that
of
one.
Ironheart.
That's what Ironheart is, apparently.
It is.
Gary Thomas
She
for
starts
5.
off going, I can be bigger than Tony Stark. I can be bigger than Bill Gates. And it's like, yeah, only by BMI. That's about the only thing. My theory is that Ironheart has about 75 IQ. And so all this talk about how she's a genius and everything is just pure delusion in her own head. And the only reason she got into MIT and everything is because she's just got DEI scholarship. I think it's the story of a Hollywood writer. They've got given everything their entire life, and the moment they have to do any kind of challenge, they just fail at everything.
Gary Thomas for 5. Just rude. Did you watch Basecamp's latest video on the current state of the woman's romance genre and fiction? To say it's filth is an understatement. I think that's what you meant to say.
I've seen the start of it. I think like the first 15 minutes. I already know what that stuff's like, largely because Lady Gravemaster keeps saying titles, and I'm just like, well, I got to see what this is. So I know what's in it. There was an interview with George R.R. Martin with another guy, the same one where there was a different quote I used from him, but in that they talk about female fiction, and this is George R.R. Martin talking to another guy who kills all his characters. Yeah, there's a lot of grapes, a huge amount of grapes, right on the stalk in huge bunches, like all over those books. And this is George R.R. Martin going, it's a little bit far for me. And it's like, he was saying that he knew about it because his publisher gives him lists of what sells in fiction. And it's all them. And it's largely because if you're a male author, you just can't get published anymore. But this is what the women are reading. They could read anything. They read that. And I would not be surprised if George R.R. Martin is writing, has written, or will write one of those books. I don't know, maybe under his own name or a different one. Very curious, though.
Very curious.
And he did say he enjoyed describing bodily fluids.
Yuck. Ken, thank you for the Canadian too. The Lord of the Rings trailers were perfect. I'm sure that I don't remember them.
I can't remember them at all.
But I'm sure they were. Jason Webster, thank you for the Australian 5. Yes, the trailers, dropped scene, and stills has not convinced me to watch James Gunn's Superman. You and me both, Jason, but I will watch the review.
Movie.
Yeah.
The more I see, the more I get put off. And a lot of it is, it's not even, like I thought the last trailer was the best one, but that's directly contradicted by the scenes I've seen in the movie, and the interviews. So I think that if he just put the trailers out, I would have been more interested than everything. So they've gone overboard with the marketing, and I think it's probably
and the marketing's weird. It's not like it's so weird. Carlos,
it's very like feminine stuff.
Extreme, like the Princess Diaries thing. Like, who's this movie for?
There's one of them with them making sparkly cups of ice cream.
I didn't see that one.
I'm like, this is very strange. But it went viral because everyone's like, is it gay to like ice cream? Like, it is.
Depends on how you eat it.
The weird thing was, I never even mentioned
what?
That. The only comments that I made, I could probably find the tweet because the tweet went kind of wild. I pissed off Angry Joe again. I keep like I'm just here living my life, and then about once or twice a year I'll piss off Angry Joe. Like I don't know how you even find my stuff. I'm surprised you haven't just blocked me by this point, because I think every time I pop on his feed, he hates it.
It's it's your tweet tirades.
No, it's like for a long time. I think it was my Phalo reviews. I had like 5k subs or something, and he started leaving nasty comments under the videos. It was like really strange.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, he's angry for a reason.
So this is all I said, right?
1 second, Carlos.
My comment, and it's kind of a bit of it's a Rorschach test. I said, please hire some straight men for your marketing team. Now, when I said this, I meant rather than women. I'm just put some straight men in there, so you're at least making some kind of marketing for straight men rather than just purely for women. And everyone went, is it gay to like ice cream? I never mentioned them in my entire, it's not even on my mind. But it's because they're making ice dessert, and they got all these little bowls and stuff.
What do you want to do?
Oh, it's the hollow. It's not even like, I wouldn't call it ice cream.
Like, look, does that scream straight man to you? Like making these like all sparkly ice cream and stuff? It's very weird.
This is very fancy hollow, isn't it?
173
my point was, it's
views.
just very effeminate. Like,
wow.
Oh, we're gonna have all these little bowls out, and we're gonna make everything. We're gonna choose them together, and we're gonna make it really sparkly and aesthetic, and then we're gonna put a little straw in. We're gonna have sparklers on the side.
I feel attacked by Disbury right now because I like bubble tea and there's balls in there with a straw.
If I say something's effeminate and you like it, you're just proving my point, though.
Yeah.
It's not insulting.
No,
if
it's
I
just
say effeminate and
Asian,
you like
Disbro.
But this is my point. Like, I have no problem with this. I think it's strange, like a strange idea for marketing, but I think the same thing about ASMR. It might have an audience that isn't me. So, whatever.
I
If
wouldn't
it
think
works, it works.
Superman, though, realistically.
Well, yeah, but, you know, I think the dog's in there to get the female audience. This clearly is. So if that there and you want a section of marketing to do this, maybe it works. I don't know. But you need to balance this out by having straight men in your marketing team making marketing that appeals to people like me. And they don't have it. Like, none of the marketing that they have would do. Like, if I want to see Superman in a tank riding over, like, muddy hills and stuff, like, blowing up targets in the way, and then going, I don't need this in the movie. And, like, you just have, like, him annihilating people, like, in marketing. But no, we're going to have him making ice cream.
The one thing you can think about with Superman, what makes Superman like who he is like the patriotism, the American way, all that. What is super American? Guns?
Guns.
Maybe the army? I don't know. The military, sorry.
Can you imagine, like, a marketing where you've got Lex and he's about to shoot, but he's not Lex, obviously, the actor of Lex, and he's about to shoot Cord Sweat with a gun, and then someone's like, no, gun with safety, and he's like, I don't need that. I'm Superman. Like, there's loads of weird things you can do with things.
Whiskey, bourbon, beer.
There is marketing that I have seen that I've liked. Like, one of the little sketches. I don't know whether I'll be able to find it. But all the marketing I've liked is to do with Lex. And I think it's because when it comes to being a villain, they're more happy with that being masculine characteristics than the hero. And so
that's because it's toxic masculinity.
Well, yeah, they see masculinity as evil, so they're willing to give that to the villain, but that just makes the villain the best character. And that's, in recent years, the villain has always been the best character, most liked character. And the Beast of Marty, it was a trust fall. And even the way it's acted is good, but it'll take me a while to find it.
Okay, well, while you do that, I'll catch up on a couple of super chats here. Carlos, thank you for another 5. Smallville did it best. Clark was emotional, but at the same time learning to control his abilities. He was a high schooler going through puberty. Yeah, and that was also before he became Superman. So it makes sense that he was learning to handle his emotions, and that's when he had his parents, coming in and helping him, like, keep him grounded. I agree with that. Jason Webster, thank you for another Australian 5. Hi to the beautiful, charming, and endearing ladies of Saucy Saturday, X-Ray Girl and Wicked Virtue, and YouTube's Grandmaster of Rapier Wit, Disparu.
See, that's all Mr. P wants. Book. He wants you to have this many adjectives before his name.
Yeah, you might be. Neil Horn for 2 said, just saw F1.
Marketing for it.
Good flick. I recommend it. Well, there's another person that liked F1. I got to go see it. All right, go ahead. Share it, Disparu. If you got it.
Hang on. I still haven't found the trust fall, but this is just, again, and the thing is, what people don't see when they see a tweet, so they will have seen that last tweet, and what they haven't seen is, I've been following all of the marketing. I've seen all the videos they put out. And so, when I said you need to make something for straight men, it also came from things like this.
Hi, I'm David Cornsweat.
And I'm Rachel Brosnahan.
And we're going to say nice things to each other.
Yeah.
And the point is not to laugh.
I'm a giggler.
The point is not to laugh.
They've given them chat-up
lines. Your
lines.
smile is so infectious it should come with a warning label.
Do infectious things come with warning labels?
Yes. When they're as infectious as your smile. When did this become ASMR?
You have a really warm smile that it feels very welcoming every time I see you.
I feel like that didn't come off the iPad.
No, just out of the heart.
I feel like if I was inside of a burning building, you would push me out the window to save me.
That is the most base comment I've ever heard. I was like, yeah, if in the movie he pushes her out a window,
it's not a roof, but it'll do.
Like into a bed or something.
Well, you should have said that, because without that part, it's really not
saving me.
You're a very supportive castmate and scene partner. I don't get this game. I don't know.
Read off the iPad.
This game is literally so stupid.
Wait, we have to do the same thing. Are you doing nice or are you reading off the iPad?
I prefer mean tweets.
He literally has a script in front of him. He's not reading. He's just saying compliments.
But it's not really like marketing towards the movie. It's almost like on the level of Cringe. No, it is on the level of Cringe.
Most of their marketing in vertical format is not anything to do with the movie. There was another one where they did a beard off. No, it was a bald off. And they all get... I can find the video. It'll be better seen to be believed.
64.
But this is
just like women.
Oh yeah, he doesn't even get it right.
Is your outfit the square root of 64? Because it's an 8.
What the heck?
I think he meant because it 8 is what he was supposed to say.
They corrected it. But again, he can't even read off an iPad. And I'm like...
You can't even read.
And this is what I'm like, can you just put men in your marketing team? No straight man would ever have come up with that as an idea.
Hey, I think a woman would totally like David Cornsweet doing what he did on that, and he should have been in a rom-com. This marketing should have been rom-com of the century. It would have worked.
Oh,
they should have done that with Pedro and Chris Evans movie with Dakota Johnson.
Okay, so I've shared The Fall. This is one of the marketing bits I like, but again, it's about Lex, and the more marketing I see, the more I like this actor, and I actually like him way more than Superman.
Nick.
What? Ready? Trust fall, of course. Never trust a supervillain, but I trust you to get your tickets to Superman July 11th.
And that's all
best
we need.
one so far.
Yeah. It is.
That's cheeky. I like it.
It's in character, yet not in character, and immediately jumps to the marketing. It's short, sweet, and it works. And it works with the movie. That's a good idea, but that's so few and far between. Let's make ice cream.
Ice cream.
Let's
compliment each other.
And see who giggles first.
That's too bad. They should have done mean tweets.
Oh, I found the bald off. It was easy. I only had to type bald.
I'm not gonna touch on that.
Disper's figured out the internet.
Finally.
Well, I have to search my bookmarks. Yeah, but it's only because it's in the tweet, so you have to kind of guess what the tweet is to accompany the video.
Anthony, what do you think the secret to bald acting is?
The secret to bald acting is just giving them a little bit of that.
It's a bald off. Beck, Skyler, Nathan. Whoever wins gets a role in the sequel to Superman, and the 2 people that lose will be kicked out of the DCU forever.
You are out.
3, 2, 1, go!
Bald.
Anthony, who's a favorite?
I gotta say, Beck does have a leg up.
Nick doesn't seem to understand that even though you're bald, you still have ears. That's a negative.
Everybody has different ears. Oh my God.
I can't hear anything.
Here comes the scissors.
Oh, hang on, one pair of scissors.
Go as fast as you can. Make it look more like he has an ear.
We don't have glue. We don't have makeup. What do you want from me?
Who has the scissors?
I think we're gonna win.
Give them some dome, you know, get them excited.
You guys all did a great job.
All right, done.
It looks like a mouse run over by a car.
You give me nothing to work with.
It was only then did I think he may be Italiano.
Italiano. What did you say?
Nothing to work with.
Italiano.
Italiano. As a pasta.
I think Geeks and Gamers should do a bald off now.
Yeah, right.
I want to see. You have to be like, who do you hate most? And then you pair them with Mike.
Like a punishment paired with Mike.
Well, no, it has to be because that team is going to lose, and so it's just like, who do you want to lose? Get them to try and make Mike look bald because there is no way you are. There is no way you are fitting.
You're getting that hair
under a bald cap.
Like cornrow it first before you put it under the cap.
He would just be like bald. You would just cover it like a big afro.
God, it's so cheesy. This marketing is so cheesy.
Yeah. Did anyone watch that? Did anyone see this? I think I need to go and see Superman now.
No.
And my issue is, if this is his comedy, this is going to be in the movie. This is the sense of humor in the movie.
Yeah.
No, we need to get like, you know what? I think Barbie marketers would do better than this.
Probably.
I wanted a Superman house.
It's kind of being marketed like Barbie, isn't it?
Yeah.
I never.
They wanted to have that effect, but the thing is, they're trying to copy it, and you cannot do that. You have to kind of inspirationally do your own stuff.
You're going after an entirely different audience.
Yeah.
The audience for Superman is men. It is not women. The audience of women that watch Superman are the ones that's like, he does look hot though, doesn't he? And they're just gonna go anyway. If you cast a hot actor and you're like, yeah, there will be a time where his suit gets destroyed and you just see all his top.
But like, okay, going back to what I said about like marketing this with like more the American way. If we saw David Cornsweet do push-ups, pull-ups, and be like, hey, if you want to see more Superman
have
like
him
this,
do the arrow thing with the bar.
Oh yeah, and then hop into like
ninja,
a truck.
the ninja thing.
Yeah.
If he did that,
did you ever see the guy that was Arrow? I don't know what the show is.
The ninja training, whatever
is that what it is?
The chat, please help.
Yeah, he was going along like there was a load of rings, and then there's bars that you had to go across, and
like the snake ladder thing. I know exactly.
And he absolutely destroyed the
Ninja
entire
Warrior.
course.
Was it like yeah? I was just gonna
Thank
say
you.
that.
I was kind of amazed because a lot of people, you're like, yeah, you are bulky, but I think it's just for show. But his muscle actually worked, and it was like, oh, you're just athletic.
Super athletic.
I think it was because a lot of people in that kind of role, they would just have a stuntman do that scene, and they just show him on a bar.
Totally did it.
But
and
he just did it. Yeah.
Every time he did it, it was like,
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's how you market to women. Like, and yeah, Barbie's done a different way. This is Barbie marketing, but it's also done at the Barbie audience. And like I say, maybe that gets you a section of the audience, but you have to have the opposite side of the market. They just don't.
It's just so sad.
The thing is, just me posting, could you hire some straight men in your marketing team? People went nuts. Like, completely enraged, bizarre rants followed me. Just for going, can you hire straight men, please? It wasn't going, fire
They
anyone
took it
else.
the way
or
they
be an
wanted to be
exclusion.
mad.
They interpreted it as an attack on them.
Yeah.
The internet.
Well, it's not even just that. It's not about it's that the entire point is to specifically exclude straight men. And so you saying you want to include them is an attack on their entire belief because they want you not there. They want all the movies to be effeminate. And so even just you asking, I think we should be part of the conversation, is exactly what they don't want. It's not that they think you're replacing them or blocking them in some way. It's that they just don't want you there.
Yeah. What's the word that they always use? Inclusivity?
Well, I actually don't think you should be inclusive because inclusion is just having no standards. There are lots of people who shouldn't be included
then
in
include
things.
them.
I think it's more... I think alienation is actually a better way of putting it. You need to be concerned about who you're alienating. So if you want to include 1% of the country, then maybe that's a good idea. It's not a good idea if you're alienating 5% of the country.
Yeah.
So you definitely shouldn't do that because you're losing more than you're gaining. And I think when you think about it in that way, it because they've been going, we want to include everybody. And then, yeah, but you're scaring away the majority of the audience to get a small niche fraction of it.
They're catering to the people that aren't giving them money or even watching their shows. So, yeah.
They're to literally Karen, the journalist that we watched earlier.
Yep. Andrew, thank you for being a member for 23 months. Happy 23 months, Sexy Nerd Wicked and the rest. So Disparu loves Ironheart.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It is a great comedy. It is Robin Hood season 2.
Disparu's loving it.
Well, I mean, we've got a Willow podcast. Well, it's not really a Willow. It's a Warwick Davis has done his own podcast. So I need to watch that at some point.
Poor David.
It's the closest I'm going to get to a Willow season 2.
Well, we can hope. Here, I'll get one more here. Carlos Lima for 5. The dog isn't even his.
Yeah.
It's Supergirl's. He's just taking care of it. Oh,
Look,
yeah.
That's why in the clip he said, where's the dog, not my dog. So that's also when people are like, well, if you took my dog, I'd be really upset. But it's not his dog, though, is it?
It's his cousin's dog.
Well, there we go. So before we get into an X-ray / Disperq, it is going to be an unsupervised Saucy in a moment.
1 hour of
Saucy
unsupervised
After Dark.
Saucy After Dark for 1 hour because I'm hopping
Yes.
off. So you guys are stuck with these two. Have fun. Watch them for me, please.
Wicked, do you have anything coming up in the next week or so?
Yeah, I'm gonna be home.
Sure.
So gaming streams will come back. I'll be home in a couple of days. So gaming streams, Because World, that'll all be back. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, wait for
Ready
it.
to go home.
Watch them for me. Milk
No,
it.
we're being left alone and unsupervised.
Yeah.
You're welcome, chat. Maybe we'll go for 5 hours on her channel and nuke it. At the
I know.
end.
I'm gonna like be going to sleep and be like, they're still going.
We almost saw Pedro's knob before. It's time to make
Oh
mine.
god! Make more clouds. Make more clouds.
Okay, but I will be back next week, guys. No more traveling, so everything will be good.
And chat, say bye to Wicked and
Bye,
safe
chat.
travels to her. Okay.
Yes. And bye to my co-host. See you guys next week.
Like safe travels. But yeah, she's driving. She'll need it.
I am.
At least I'm not driving this time.
Bye, guys.
Then everybody needs it.
Let's grab some of these super chats as Wicked makes her exit. John Thomas for 5 says it isn't illegal in Oregon to walk up to a kid naked on a public street.
I bet it is,
No, I
mean,
do not
it may
endorse
say it
this.
isn't in the law, but I bet it would be if you tried.
I mean, I know in Toronto, technically you're allowed to be topless men and women, but frowned upon.
We have, but it's the same with lots of these archaic laws. Just because it's on the books doesn't mean it's enforced, or that's the way that another rule would overtake it. So we have a woman can be topless if she works in a tropical fish shop. We also have a pregnant woman can legitimately pee in a policeman's helmet. That is a law, and I believe
Where I want to do this.
I believe if you ask them for their helmet, they have to give it you as well. Whether it's still hand up, but that is the law. And it's just like, well, a woman, it might compress her bladder. She's got to pee somewhere, and it would be uncivilized for her to just pee in the street. Therefore, she does it in a policeman's helmet.
That is chivalry, okay?
Yeah.
Don't let her pee on the streets. Let her pee in your helmet.
Oh, that was the thing. Yeah, I think it was that a woman can't be topless on public transport unless she works in a tropical fish shop. I think one of my favorites was a Canadian one, and that was if a horse refuses to overtake your car, you have to dismantle it and hide it in the bushes.
Which kind of bush?
Well, it depends how big your bush is. I'm not sure how unkempt the Canadian ladies are.
I mean, there's such things as bushfires here too.
Well,
so.
it is a very feminist country. Who knows?
Oh God. While we're kind of the beginning of this debauchery hour, Staccato DDS for $10 says, how much are full shots tonight? I don't have a shot glass. I have a cup.
The kids unsupervised to the debauchery hour. That escalated quickly.
Sorry. I mean, it's all the same thing, realistically.
I don't know why you're apologizing. You'd name it anything. I'll just go along with it.
Disbrew. 50, 75, 100. I'm going to let you choose.
I don't know why you're asking me. I'll do any of them.
100. There you go. Staccato's probably going to do it, though. I'm scared. I'm scared. Thank you, Staccato, for the $10. Lexicon Hellhound.
I mean,
for
with
5...
all of them, I tend to just drink anyway, and then just drink more when money
I mean, I've
comes
been
in,
drinking
so.
slowly. Yeah, I'm on vacation, so I'm not as a big stickler for how much I drink. Lexicon, thank you for the 5. Says the next fighter pilot movie is going to be Bottom Gun starring Pedro Pascal.
He'd like to be the one getting shot down, I think. Like in Top Gun Maverick, he is the one flying in front going, no, catch me.
Oh my God. Hey, maybe he liked that sonic boom action. I like this. Dispa Shoe Debauchery Hour.
It is so weird. I still can't read it as shoe.
I know, because it's the Chinese.
Like, I got used to Xiaomi, which is a Chinese company. When I think that's XIAMO or something like that. But when it's 3 letters and pronounced shoe with
because people would I would normally just say zoo.
Yeah.
Like if I saw that, just thinking like in the mindset. So, and people did do that, but it worked. It was interesting to hear my name. Not
I'm
X-ray,
surprised you didn't just put X-ray. Because I don't think anyone would question it if it was just X-ray.
Yeah, it's just, the Chat GPT thinks my name is Stephanie, so.
So did you have people coming up to, did you have like weird situations or something when you'd introduce yourself as X-ray girl? Is that why you did it?
Yeah. When you go up to someone who's like older and not like on the internet as much or live
They're not
streams,
used to like
gaming.
screen names. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just
because
like
gaming in particular is used to screen, like any kind of
absolutely.
random crap. Yeah.
we have a ton of names. Like I wouldn't know the name Disparu as a screen name because I'm not familiar with other languages, but we have like Metal, Mauler, Drinker, stuff like that. I mean, Drinker at least has his name out, and I guess Mauler does too, but he's never really hit his name in the first place. But I think
that is the thing with mine, even though it's French, and like I said, I don't know how the French pronounce it, but if any way you would work this out, I'd be fine with it being pronounced.
Yeah.
It seems to be a difference between Disparu and Disbaru. It seems to be the only ways that people really...
I'm glad that there's a name people can use that doesn't sound super weird when you at least express it.
I just found it funny that you were like, they're going to get freaked out by X-Ray Girl, but when I put X-U-E, that's way easier for all these old people. It was like...
It's the way of the world. The weirdest name
I saw it, I was like, what on earth is that?
Okay, the weirdest name I've ever seen, not because of cultural backgrounds, but there's people who name their children A, B, C, D, E. So that it's not the name, but I'm just spelling it out. A, B, C, D, E. Now, think chat, how do you pronounce that? How do you think you pronounce that, Disparu?
Abracadabra.
It's pronounced Absidy.
No, it isn't. Not if they know anything about the English letters.
Yeah.
It'd be like Abcada.
Abcada.
Well, we always, and this was back in the 90s before England changed, but every year, like, our most popular name would be whatever was popular on television. So there was, we had a TV show called Footballers' Wives. It was like a drama, but it was literally about a load of famous footballers and what their wives got up to while they're making loads of money. And there was a woman called Chardonnay, which everybody loved. They all thought she was a great character. And so they all named their kids Chardonnay. And then she turned out to be a right slag in the show. And
it's
she
like
just got into all kinds of stuff. I know they'd all name their kids after her. It's like, so there's an entire generation of women called Chardonnay.
I mean, if I'm gonna choose, I don't know if there's any wine names I would even think to name my child if I'd had one.
Yeah, you're not gonna call like Pinot Grigio.
No, I mean like maybe some form like, but champagne still doesn't sound like a cute name. No.
Champagne's too well known as a wine.
It's too long too to like spell out. I think for a kid.
I do kind of wonder like if the French would get annoyed because I know. Well, we have sparkling wine, but sparkling wine is just champagne. But under European law, it can only be called champagne if it comes from the French region.
Champagne, yeah. Otherwise, it's prosecco.
Well, over here it's sparkling wine. It would be what they call it. So yeah, I wonder if the French would get annoyed. Like, well, she wasn't born in Champagne. You can't call her that.
I like this Highlander. This is actually true. Rosé or Rose. That's
She'd
the
just
only
get
one.
called Rose, though.
Yeah. Unless you have that accent aigu on top. So, Russell Hall, thank you for the 5. Says Pedro Pascal risks getting AIDS every time he goes to audition for a role.
I'm sure he's got lots of helpful staff.
Tons of staff
lots of
in
people
there.
aiding him with all kinds of business. He's got secretaries, I'm sure. A whole entourage.
Damn. Okay. Staccato with 200 says you know what to do. I was
just refilling my glass anyway.
Let me go refill my glass too. Well, we're that's 2 shots.
Well, it's paid. I should probably use the shot.
I think this is 2 shots. I don't know.
You said
I'm gonna drink this.
Yeah, I need to get.
Oh, I wish I brought my own shot glass to the hotel. This came in. This is so crazy, chat. So I went shopping for American alcohol. The Maker's Mark was like, I think $40 for this, but then this came in a gift set with the same size bottle for $30 on sale. So I bought the gift set, of course. Now I have a random water bottle.
There was a random video of like some Asian working out a Coca-Cola was this size at this price and it was this size at this price. What was the best value? Anyway, I didn't even want to buy Coca-Cola. I just wanted to flex my math skills. But I was just like, no, I do that. If I'm in a store, I'll be like, yeah, is it better to buy the 1.5 liter bottles or the 2 liter bottles? And I'll do the
No,
math.
and some stores now what they do, and Costco does this, is they'll put price per 100 milliliters or liters just because people do this naturally. And then that way you can compare, oh, should I buy the smaller or the larger pack?
But then I've seen ones where they'll mix it up. So sometimes, like for toilet roll, one of them will do, well, 16 packets is this, but the other one is by the roll, and or they'll mix up different measurements between like Imperial or whatever on this different tickets to make it more complicated.
Oh, I would just do my own then at that rate.
Well, it's because we have European laws, and so I'm not sure whether you're supposed to break it down, and so they find loopholes. But
to further confuse their patrons. That's smart. It's like so scientifically, they measured if you have an item priced at $25 and $24.99, someone will likely buy something for $24.99. That 1 cent difference makes it feel like it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's
wild.
There's lots of mental blocks. People like round numbers. So okay, you know the
Thank you, Staccato.
There's a meme with women. I still got one more to do. But I'm too into the topic. Yeah, the whole 6 foot, 6 figures, 6 inches, all that kind of stuff with women.
Six.
That does not exist on the European continent.
Wait, what?
They don't measure height in feet. They measure it in centimeters.
So is there a minimum that they have? You know how like they say 6 feet always?
No, hang on. What is 6 feet in centimeters? Okay, so 6 foot in centimeters is 182.88. And so in America, they want the 6 feet because it's a nice round number. It feels as if it means something. It's mentally safe. There's nothing special about 182.88. So it doesn't matter whether it's 181 or 183. Yeah, they're probably more likely for 180 because it's a round number. And this is the point. Everybody loves to think that you're the smart, logical, rational. You're just an animal running off instinct, and you're coming up with reasons why you want it afterwards. So people will go, no, he has to be 6 foot because it makes me feel safe, and his arms go around me, and he's tall. It's like, well, okay, so why does someone who's 4'5" still want someone who's 6 foot? You don't want to feel safe. You want him to feel like he can beat up other people. That's what it is. And 6 foot is a nice mental round number.
Powerful.
You linked your post-rationality to your instinct, not the other way around. Mm-hmm. You already liked it, and you came up with a reason why you liked it afterwards. And this is why a lot of people hate essentially evolutionary psychology, because it's so simple. It's so simple that it explains everything to the point where they're like, I don't trust that. Because it makes them feel small, and they can't accept that they are.
I just say, as long as you're like equal or taller than me, I'm not picky in that aspect. But I mean, I'm also not a typical woman, so
yeah, there are cultural differences. I think that's another thing. People don't realize that culture is genetic, and so if you take like England, we've been around for about 1,000 years. Very little has changed in 1,000 years. People can track their genetic lineage down to a certain area in England for 1,000 years. So there's a thing like with Cheddar Man, they found one of his relatives like a mile up the road.
Wow.
And
distance.
So, and if you have a society, then the people that pass on their genes are the highest, most status people, the people most well adapted to that society. And so those are the people that pass on their genetic behaviors down to the next generation. So over time, your culture becomes a genetic culture. And this is why it's like, well, British people are just American. It's like, no. And if you moved me to America, I would still act like a Brit because it's in my DNA.
Mm-hmm. I guess while we're on this topic, because not everyone, some people in chat are saying typical girl. Caught for $10. Can you please clarify about not being a typical woman? Looks is not a huge deal. I mean, I was with someone who, had one leg. Okay. I try to base a lot of things on personality and how you treat someone. And that is way more important to me than, physical characteristics in that aspect.
Now, the interesting part about that is, if you asked nearly every woman, they would all say the same thing. The difference is whether they
Actually
a lot
did or
of
not.
women. Yeah, well, a lot of women think they want something and they actually don't. It makes them miserable. But or if you ask women, because they're more concerned with how they look, why they spent an hour getting ready for a camera, and a guy will roll out of bed and just walk onto it. If they think something makes them seem bad, they will lie. And they may even believe it themselves. They may have convinced themselves that, no, I'm really not into looks. But then you go and check everyone they've dated and they're all stunners, you know? It's that kind of thing. So
I'm like, I end up like, when I'm dating, I don't really like, sure, I'm like, whatever, person attractive, but I think for me, what I like is the conversations you have, and that makes me like a person more versus looks. But that's just me. So
yeah, I think that's, I always like the coupling thing where she's like, so where are we going to this? He's like, he invites her to a car place. Like, you know, I'm not going to sleep with you. It's like, yeah, sure. Like, we're going to France. He's like, yeah, sure. No, I'm genuinely not going to, like, no matter what happens, I'm not going to, yeah, that's fine. Like, no, I'm never going to do it, Patrick. Ever, in a million years, under any circumstances. Do you want to take the tickets back? He's like, yeah. And it goes. And then she goes, Patrick, yes. What do you call the people that you spend time with, but you don't want to sleep with? And he just kind of...
Friends?
Men. It's like...
Oh my god. Oh my god. Men. Oh my god.
I think there is a great deal. I think most men, like most of men's friends are men. And it's not that, oh, well, they want to bang the others. It's just that, no, I think, and I just think more interesting personally is I don't know what happens.
Well, okay, like the crazy part is like, I don't want to get too far into like red pill. Men like women.
It's not. That's not. It's not. Wasn't a red pill point. My point was because it was what you said. I'm not sure I've ever dated anyone because I think you'll give incredibly interesting conversation. I don't think that's as important for men as it might be for women.
I guess what I dissect in conversation is I always hit the first three, which is religion, children, and location.
Children is probably the biggest. Not sure religion is unless.
Well, if I'm dating, I dated someone who ended up converting to Islam. That's kind of scary in a sense.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that. I was more thinking. I kind of assumed if you were religious and they weren't, or if you weren't,
that also matters. Because if say like I had a religion and they had a different religion, what religion are the kids gonna fall under?
That's what I was thinking of. Because what I was going to say is I didn't think religion mattered so much about the kid conversation. Because like what the morals, values, like I'm not religious, but if I dated someone who was religious, I have no problem with Christianity, like church weddings or the kid being raised. I'm in a position where I think people should be religious, but I'm just not. Because I'm in a position where basically everything about me would be Christian.
Without the title?
It's just the God bit, you know? So I have all of Christian morality. I would basically agree with the teachings. It's just the God bit. I think I said that to Lady G once, and she went, that is quite a big part of Christianity, though. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, I have like the morals and the values, and I was raised that way. So the entire foundation of me as a person and my beliefs would be Christian. It's just
which I think is great.
It exists or not.
It's being good, and I think that's like what societies build themselves on. It's just a matter of abiding by the rules. We've seen a lot of rules, kind of just gray areas.
English law for about the last 1,000 years has been Christian law. Well, it's like the head of the Church of England is the monarch. So, that's other thing. I don't know whether other generations feel like it, where everybody throughout all of history always felt like they were at a pivotal point where everything was changing. That might be the case.
We lived through a few of those already.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I assume everybody in a world war felt the same. But then you have like the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. They can't have felt that way, but maybe they did.
I mean, like, even just the idea of the cultural war, it does feel different. Like, ever since 2020, there's been a shift, at least in the Americas, of morality.
No, I agree. I've argued for a long time about a switch in morality. I just see it as going back a lot further. And so I see it more as a slow increase.
Progression, and we saw the peak.
As it got more power, it had more power to exploit, so it got faster and faster and faster. So the more they could like exploit the control, the censorship, the faster and more control they had and gained faster. But I would say it went back like well over 100 years.
Wow.
And so I can see Gary's point of the culture war never ends. But I do feel more like there was, especially since 2000s, but yeah, in the 2010s, there was a flip. And I've always seen it. And this is the issue, because if I say, well, it was a flip from masculine morality to female morality, everyone suddenly gets all offended and you can't talk about it. It's, oh my God, you're attacking all these people. It's like, no, I'm not saying that anyone is particularly bad. I'm saying that everything has a certain place and a role, and things should be that way. And I think my issue with the world is more that I see things as sort of, you have a place, and it's good to be in your place, and you should be in your place. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be. Like, well, I don't really care what you want. I care what you should be doing. I just think you'd be happier if you were doing what you should be doing. And it kind of goes back to what I said about the people that can't decide in the supermarket would just be happier if you gave them some butter. They don't want to choose between 50 different types of butter. They just want to be given butter. They want butter, give them butter. They want to move on with their lives. But they can't physically work with that. And I think there's a lot of that. The way I see all of society is like you have a bulk of people that just want to live their life. And then you have the weird freaks that are like the edges of society. And they'll either think too little about something or think too much about something. And they go off in the different directions. And they're like, you know what? Ants work the same way. So the bulk of the colony, or bees, go to save food. And then they send off little explorers. And those explorers will guide their next moves. And I think that human society essentially works the same way, just more as a distributed system.
It's interesting.
I get this way when I've been drinking, and nobody else cares. But this is what I spend my time thinking about.
No, I love our drunk conversations. And I mean, I know back like 3 years ago, I don't remember asking you about coming on Poor Choices, and this is a light version of Poor Choices, okay? But even having these conversations is kind of like YouTube favors a certain direction, and we've had conversations behind the scenes of like just like life, relationships, dating, and all this. And I think that like it's nice to hear these opinions out there, albeit drunk, but they're still your opinions.
No, I remember the Poor Choices conversation, and it was more like, and it's the simple fact that if you say, I find a lot of society now is about how you frame something, and I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
So people don't care about the principle of the message. I even saw, I can't remember which channel it was. They said, and I was kind of stunned, the content of the message doesn't matter. It's the person saying it that matters, and that's what should matter. So they were saying, if a horrible person says the correct real-life description of the world, that doesn't matter as much as the fact that a horrible person is saying it. I was like, wow. Because to me, it doesn't matter who says what. It only matters, is it true? And so I don't care if someone insults someone. I'm like, well, are they that thing? Is my first opinion.
You're a lot more blunt than some people, but some people care about who the messenger is.
Well, yeah, but that's because I care about their opinion less. You find the world's a lot easier when you stop care. Like, oh, I'm offended. It's like, okay, whatever.
It's true.
If you're offended by reality, you're just an idiot.
A lot of women, trust me. I know.
No, but it is a case of I like working out how things work because it's the way I understand things. You go from like foundations of stuff and build up, and you find now you're in a point where if you say this is how the world works, or this is how you would be better off if the way it did, suddenly, oh my God, you hate these people. No, I'm just describing reality. I'm not even saying if I agree with it or if I'd like. I'm saying this is how the world is.
It's the drawing of conclusions off of a statement that doesn't even say the statement of the conclusion that they're thinking of.
Well, yeah, but they care about. A lot of people think solipsistically, so they think from their point of view, because I'm not sure a lot of people can even comprehend a different point of view.
Empathy and all.
If you're talking about something that they are, they think you're talking about them in particular, and so they take it as a personal, individual attack on them. And I'm like, no, I'm just saying that this is how and because people always want mostly, on average, and I don't talk that way because my way has always been, you say things as a group because you have two groups of people. You will either have the people who are intelligent enough to realize that no comment applies to everybody, and so they just take it how you mean it, and they're just talking on average. And then you have the other people who are either too thick or too evil to take it that way. So they're either they can't understand, in which case they're not worth talking to, or they deliberately and intentionally take it in bad faith, in which case you don't want to talk to them. And so I find talking to absolutes is another filter of finding people you should just not have anything to do with. There's lots of things like that which I think are useful.
Yeah. Well, these are the philosophical debates that Disparu and I have or have had. And they're honestly really fun, in my opinion. So, Lexicon, we're jumping around the super chats because I thought this was more pertinent to this conversation. Thank you for the $10. Says, Disparu essentially just espouses evolutionary biology in an informal and haphazard way. And for another $10, says, and evolutionary psychology, which is absolutely true. I agree on that.
I generally think scientific language is done to separate class. I think doctors do this. So you have heart attack, which everybody in the world knows, and then you have a myocardiac arrest,
infarction arrest, or whatever it is.
Yeah, which is just the same thing, but it's individual scientific remove language away from the item. So only doctors understand that term. And so if you use that term, they know that you're part of the club and they can... It's academic language. And lots of academia do this to separate themselves. I generally try and stick to the layman stuff because I don't generally trust people that switch things to academic language.
I also think
it's generally a sign of low IQ and you're just using more complex language to stop people analyzing what you're actually saying.
So this is a twofold thing. So I know when I do charting notes that having the academic language is actually better, especially if you get sued or someone gets sued and then you get brought into court for whatever case it is.
I'm on about, when I talk about it, is essentially to describe reality. I don't talk about legal things.
Which is
a heart attack and a myocardiac infarction describes the same thing.
Which is why I also do the thing where when you talk to people about certain things, like the layman's term, you talk to patients, talk layman's term because they're not going to understand.
Yeah, but that's my point. You have separated now two groups of people. So you're like, well, when I talk to the professionals, I use this word. But when I talk to the plebs, I use this word. And that's what academia does. Academia hides their entire social commentary behind a weird load of academic terms that unless you put in a lot of effort, you can't even understand. And if you use those terms, they generally signify you're part of the tribe and you've been through the indoctrination process compared to everybody else. Things like heteronormativity. What do you mean? Well, you just mean normal. Those are the separative terms, and I just take it the other way. I think in a lot of things, if people are over here, or if people are running one way, I'm generally running the other. I often think I'm like a balancing kind of thing. It's like the more extreme you get, the more I'm like, no, I'm digging my heels in. I'm not going over there. And so it is the same with academia. The more you want to separate yourself, the more I'll just look down on you. So if you think you're above me because you can use academic language, I will know what you're saying, and I will also think you're inferior to me. And if you use those things, I will think you're more... This is why when I'm so intelligent. Like, well, you're not though, are you? You're about 75 IQ. And the more she says she's a genius, the more like, you're all 75 IQ though, aren't you, really?
I think it's just good to say you're dumb. And use that to your advantage. I love on F&T when people are like, she has nothing to say. Well, guess what? I have a
Which, yeah,
choice
but you
to
have
say
a job.
something.
Yeah, you
Well-
have a job in FNT as well.
Well, absolutely. I have a choice to inject myself in a conversation where I can. There's no one stopping me. But I think
Unfortunately.
I think that I choose to not say anything because I know the panelists also have a lot to say. There's also 10 people there or 9 people there plus me. It's okay to not say something and then people are surprised I talk. Well, guess what? I choose to not talk because I know the direction of the show. I've seen enough to know, okay, they're not here for me and that's okay. I help with everything else.
FNT is a tough stream to be on talk-wise, just because there's so many people and everybody wants to say something. So even getting like elbowing your way into the conversation can be tough at times. It's why, especially on like the reviews now, I'm like, okay, the first 20 minutes, everybody, like, you can have your melee, and then it kind of calms down after like the first 20 minutes, and then it's a lot easier to join in with the conversation.
Because everyone is so excited to talk about something.
Yeah,
and
it's like, let's talk about Ironheart. And
I appreciate
everyone already
it.
knows what they want to say. Yeah.
And it's like trying to get this point across, and it's just, why battle it? You're here for these people specifically, and we've created whatever this like show where people want to come here for these specific opinions. They're not there for me, and I realize that, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, I'm just there to look pretty and chime in when Gary says something wrong on super chats. So,
when he's like, can you get me this leg? X-Ray, can you get me the leg?
Try. So, I always think it's funny when people are like, extra girl doesn't say anything, but guess what? I do it by design. Staccato with $5.
I need to get a bottle, so.
Oh, go ahead. I'm gonna go through some of these super chats. Kara, you're welcome for the membership. LOL. Oh, I guess he gave some memberships to Kara. It's adorable. Oh yeah, then Az steamrolls in, which is funny. Oh, thank you, Bear. That's really sweet. That's really sweet. So, Black Cane for $2. We need Dispy Wispy Ferret voice. I'm gonna keep this here. Maybe he can give a little show of some of the ferret voice comments. I miss playing D&D. I think that is one of my favorite streams from back in the day. There's just not enough time in the world to add that right now. So, yeah. I can't wait to play it again. Lexicon Hellhound for 5 says, when I took personality tests, I have almost no agreeableness. So comments mean nothing to me. People with high agreeableness get affected. And that's actually really true. People who need validation, I find, have a weak affinity to just having confidence in an opinion. And people that I've seen that have it, they'll say, I loved, say, Ironheart as an example. And then you'll be like, oh, but Ironheart sucked. Like this and this and this happened in Ironheart. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. Ironheart does suck. And I hate this is the end all be all of agreeableness. Managers that want to make everyone happy. Guess what? You're not going to make everyone happy.
I had a manager who is simultaneously my favorite manager, but he also didn't make me do any work for a long time. But he is probably, in my life, the best person I have ever seen to make everyone like him. He was impossible to dis. No, there's been 2 people in my life that were like that. That you cannot like them. And one guy I hated at one point, and that just broke through over the course of the night. And those are the people that do really well in corporations and the public sector. They know exactly who to get on side to get the next promotion, and you just see them flying through the ranks.
Yeah.
And they may not even be good at their job, but they know how to get people to
They
think,
know how to network.
That guy should be in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am not agreeable, which is probably not
a
a surprise to most people.
Honestly, Disprove, but I appreciate that more often on especially on a manager. I would rather know what you like and what you don't like. When I want something to happen, you go, "Oh my god, that's a great idea. I want to talk about this with blah, 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 blah," and they don't do it, and it's like, well, why would you even say that in the first place? Because now I don't want to come to you with issues.
It is very funny that there are people who will say something and you'll go, oh no, because this, and this. And they're like, no, you're right. Like, you've just rotated your entire worldview 180 degrees in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could never be that.
I mean, if you brought up a good point that I never thought about before, maybe you can rotate me in that sense. Like,
oh, I would change my mind, but I'm just on about, like, they say they like something, I go, I don't like it, and then they
go, I don't like it.
Yeah. It's like, if I find out I'm factually wrong about something, fair enough. But if someone goes, oh no, John Wick is actually bad because his suit stops bullets, then I'm not going to change my mind just because somebody's had a different opinion than me. But I'm talking about, like, it would be something like that, and they go, no, actually, that would be stupid. And I'm like, what?
We're in fantasy land when it comes to John Wick at this point, to be fair.
Well, no, I think it's perfectly reasonable. That point specifically, I think it's perfectly reasonable, because that is a world without police. They use the assassins as the police force. So if you piss people off, you don't piss people off, because if you do, they'll hire an assassin to kill you. And so I think in a world where assassins are the police force, it is very reasonable that they would put more money into bulletproof protection. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. This is on request here from Black Cane. We need more Dispy Wispy Ferret voice.
Oh, I really liked when we have, like, dun 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 dun, and it was like, the ferret's going around, ferret power! And it was like invading the castle and stuff. And it was the only one that could fit through the hole because we got stuck at a gate. No one could get through this pissing gate.
Oh my god, the gate episode was so stupid.
We were there for like 2 weeks. It was like, the ferret's the only one. And I think in the end, I just went, yeah, you can just control the gate if you get inside. And we're like, da-da-da! And I'm like going through on a special ferret mission.
Wait, was that the same episode where I ran away and then became a slave because I felt so sorry? Or at least storyline.
No, that was a later one. That was the one where we killed the god.
Oh.
And so I also wasn't taking part in that fight because I'm like, I knew at that point that the boss fight was actually later on, and we weren't supposed to be fighting the boss. So I was kind of metagaming, but well, it wasn't really metagaming because I was playing my character. My character wouldn't have fought in that point. But my character would have thought that you'd run away. And I also knew by the rules that if you run away, he wouldn't follow you. So maybe it's metagaming, but it was also, it is in character. And then everyone decided to fight it, and then they killed it. And then you ran away, which is what I thought everyone else would do, but everyone, like, purely looked out, essentially, and killed the god. Way before we were supposed to.
Good luck, right? And then it's like, well, what do I do? Fall to my knees and beg for forgiveness for running away because it was
you know what my favorite? It's not even that you went, I owe you a life debt. It's that Mike turned to me and went, we'll share her. I was like, what?
It became both of your slaves, and I thought that was so funny.
Yeah. I really enjoyed playing with Mike in those kind of games. I think we have a similar sense of humor in a way, because I recommended to Mike Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. Now that, to me, there's lots of comedies that I'd recommend to any, like Coupling, Black Book, maybe not Black Books, the IT Crowd, though, I'd recommend to anybody. Garth Marenghi's Dark Place is very niche.
Never heard of it.
If you like Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, you have my sense of humor. And I said, I just mentioned it in passing to Mike, and he went, just binged the entire thing. I thought it was awesome.
Love it.
Yeah.
I honestly, unequivocally love, he's one of my favorite people in like the Fellowship type of thing, you know?
Yeah, Mike's a lot of fun.
He's good. He's good people. So
yeah.
Malty, member for 23 months, says 2 red boys in a row. Also, did Disparu get a girlfriend? He's so well groomed. Hail Wicked and X-Ray.
You know when I said girls will spend an hour getting ready, I just roll out of bed, and this is how I am.
He just looks good rolling out of bed.
The only difference is, like, I know that one of the key to things is just setting the standard that people should accept. So if you spend your time as just a complete and utter scrub for most of the year, when you actually just cut your hair, people are like, oh my god, he looks so different.
You know what? No. It's so true.
Also, at the moment, it is so hot that, like, It is pure sweat that is keeping my hair in any kind of sense.
It's like over here. So just for you'll understand, it's 29 degrees Celsius here. Although I am in an AC, so there is that. But
it's the temperature of my stream room is way hotter than the rest of like the actual normal temperature.
The computer, right?
Oh well, I have lots of electronics, so yeah, in this room with the lights and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it is 30.5 C in this room.
Okay. I don't understand how it's so hot in this world, but hey, at least it's not like 40 degrees like it was in North Carolina when I was there. So
well, I've seen a load of videos recently, and people have done compilations of Americans, Australians, people from like Mexico and stuff going, I always laughed at the Brits. This summer, the heat hits differently in the UK. I was like, yeah, it does. But they don't appreciate it until they come here. It's like, no, it is not the same as you. And I didn't, again, I did not realize the difference until I went to places like Las Vegas or even Florida and stuff.
It just hits differently, right?
You're just out in it, and it doesn't feel hot because your sweat makes you cooler.
That's what sweat is for.
Not in the UK. Your sweat just sits on you. It doesn't cool you down. You just drown slowly.
I take a lot of showers, I think, to help cool down, but that's just me.
Normally I'd have a fan, but my fan is a big metal industrial fan that you would hear if I turned it on.
Very loud, probably, right?
I have ordered a second fan, but we don't normally have heat for this long, so.
I mean, fans sold out when we were in the UK, so I get it.
Well, I need someone to peel grapes for me and like wave a giant leaf. That's what I need.
Anyone want to volunteer for that job?
Probably Pedro Pascal. I'm sure he's a fan.
He'll fan your fanny. McFly for $5 says, do you know why Scotsman...
You realize that means something entirely
I
different.
know. We've talked about that before. Do you know why Scotsman's kilts go all the way to their knees? Because they're all braggarts. Sadly, I'm also Japanese, so I kind of canceled out. I don't know what braggarts means, but that sounds bad.
Bragging.
Ah, okay. Yeah. More clouds.
Well, if it was any shorter, I'd be flashing you.
Yes. Keeps me cool. Jason Webster for 5 Australian, like 9 puzzles and Hyperknife, I recommend our Unwritten Soul and our movie. These are among the very best K-dramas. Jason Webster, one day I'm going to get you to make me a comprehensive list of K-dramas and watch them. I still have not seen that Netflix show that we talked about, Disparo. I'm taking my time, clearly. The game one. Reality show game. It takes 20 minutes to talk about the rules. Doctor Who tried to do
Devil's Plan.
Devil's
season
Plan.
2. It's not as good as season 1.
Oh, that's it.
It's still good. Don't get me wrong. It's still good. I think the issue is the people going into this one had watched season 1, and they'd also chosen intelligent people. Can you get the last super up?
Oh, sorry. Oh no, I think I unclicked it.
Oh no.
Jason Webster, I'm sorry, and we're not on Wicked.
Can you control F it? Because it said 9 puzzles and Hyperknife, but I didn't get the others.
No, I lost it.
I will go in the. I will open up the stream and go backwards in time. I'm
so sorry, Jason Webster. If you're in the chat, don't super chat it. Can you just say it?
It's all right. I have the power. I can just go back in time. It's easy enough.
Thank you. He's a time traveler, all.
Yeah, it was. Well, it's because she didn't know what braggarts meant. So.
Braggarts. Yeah.
Unwritten. I kind of like the name Unwritten Soul or Unwritten Soul.
That's a good play on a name.
Yeah, exactly. It's 2 things in one.
Unwritten Soul.
An hour movie. I've got them. It's fine. Yeah, she didn't know what braggarts meant. So a long skirt being a massive manhood didn't really get her.
And that's why he's a braggart. Braggart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you were wearing a mini skirt, you couldn't be that big, right? And the Japanese don't have that problem.
Skirts.
Yeah, you want to prove it. Hey, in today's day and age, you can't be too careful.
I guess if I wanted to seem like I had a big peen, I'll wear a longer skirt. But good thing I don't have one. Ooh, Carlos Lima for 5 says, I pronounce my name exactly the way it's spelled. Just like I put my pants on one leg at a time.
So he's like, Carlos
Lima.
That's what Pedro Pascal has done. His name is Pedro Pascal, but he wants to pretentiously pronounce it in a flowery way. Sound more important.
Well, I mean, he is flowery, so. I'm just
Maybe
a
that's
normal man. I'm just a normal man, I guess. Pedro is not. Where are we going with this? Where's Wicked? Wicked, help us.
That's not the what. That wasn't the super chat I was thinking of. No, there was there was something else. That Pedro's getting all over his face. Like he looks dead on the inside. I'm like, no. To be fair, he's had a lot of life inside him.
Life starting stuff inside him. The building blocks.
There was an old meme once, and it was like, can you imagine how excited you'd be? Like, you have evolved specifically for this purpose. The only thing that you came into this universe to do, and you're not like other people, it's not like, oh my god, I don't want kids. No, this is what you're there for. You have one goal. And you're standing on the launch pad, and you're there, you're like with your friends, you're like, we're all going off, sir. This is our time. This is why we're here. And you launch out of the thing, and it's like, oh no, daylight.
I love drunk talks with you, Disparu.
My issue is I remember stand-up comedy jokes from when I was like 8.
It's a good brain to have, okay? I wish I had that.
I only remember things that are funny or interesting to me. That's my issue. So people are like, no. I've heard Gary is like, yeah, he'll remember like this article from... It's like, no. Only if it's funny or interesting. But anything else gets deleted the moment I make a video.
True. I mean, I used to do tests, and the funny part is, you think you have to be smart to be in university, and you don't.
No, you need a good
You just have to know to take tests.
And that changed. This is, and again, whenever you discuss how the world is and how it flipped from, the longer time's gone on, the more I think that actually the whole patriarchy talk was right, but that was more a natural way of being. But like, oh my god, you hate this. Like, no, what happened in education were the system was designed for men, and now the system is designed for women. And one of the things from that was men are better in tests, stressful situations, and so the entire academic institution was different. Whereas now it's more coursework based. Everything's more feeling based. No, it's all based over longer times because women don't do very well in tests, and this is why you saw men were massively ahead of women. Then there was a dedicated effort to make that switch, and now it's switched, and now women do better in academia than men do. And it comes down to tests. I would learn the day before, go into an exam, write it all down, immediately forget it, and leave.
I think it depends on the test that you do, and so I've made a realization on like how to test for, say, your super science courses like physiology, biology, chemistry, and the worst tests I ever did, and I hate the multiples. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have the answers 1, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 are correct, 1, 2, 4 are correct, 1, 2, 5, and I hated those types of answers. But multiple choice is just tricks. Whatever you choose first is likely the right answer. There are studies that are done on this. So if you study studies, you'll know how to take the tests.
The way my brain works is it's more difficult for me to remember lots of variations of the final answer than remembering the foundational principle of how you get to the answers. So I remember in chemistry, there was lots of weird triangles of 3 things. And it'd be like, well, the top one is divided by the other 2, and if it's on the bottom 2, then it's multiplied. I couldn't remember those triangles, but I could remember all the different variations of the triangles, and then I'd just work it out. And so I remember things by like base blocks, and then essentially rediscover it in the exam. It's way easier for me. I don't think multiple choices should be on the question at all. This thing is, I hate how education has changed.
It's vastly different, and I mean it's almost a joke because higher education is not based on knowledge; it's based on how well you study.
Yeah, but it's very feminine to be. You get marked according to whatever, like agreeing with whatever the social consensus is, and that's not the way it used to be.
I guess it depends on your degree. Because, like, I would say it's a stark difference on, like, the right versus wrong answers. but that depends on like I've only been in science, okay?
No, even in science, one of the issues with science has always been that science advances by death. So a scientist will discover something, and then everyone will just assume it's correct, and then they all get taught it, and they all believe it, and they move on. And so you have an entire generation of scientists that all believe this foundation. None of them ever checked it. They just were taught it in school and never thought about it, never reran the study. And so it becomes no knowledge until that scientist dies. And then somebody's willing to test that study when he's died, so they won't have any like social interruptions by it. And then it'll jump because it turns out it was wrong. There was a maths thing. Nobody checked this guy's maths, and then he died, and then someone did, and it was wrong. An entire generation of people went down the wrong path. This is the way science is. It always goes by death. Like people think science is objective. It isn't. Like it isn't at all. This is why you can have a consensus, and if you disagree, they just ban you. They just won't allow you to talk about it.
We're getting into fucking frontier territory right now. Russell Hall for $2 says bubble tea is only good with coconut jelly. I mean, I like the bobas.
I find it. I think it's an abomination to tea.
I like mango jelly too. I also like.
I don't know if it's tea though. Is it actually tea?
It's a type of tea.
From my definition of tea being tea leaves.
It's there are certain brewed teas, but they add flavoring, so I don't necessarily think it's the same. But
it's abomination against God.
I personally I like flavored like stuff. So it depends on how they make it. I like grass jelly a lot. Grass jelly milk tea. Very good. So
no one should be eating grass.
Except cows. Fiesta Cat for $1.99 says bald off as wins. No, well, Odin is bald. I was debating on cosplaying as Odin, shaving my head, and putting my hair on my chin for this week.
Well, they'd have to be excluded, right? Because we saw in the bald off, the actual bald guy was the one judging. So
you
Az
can't
would
be in a
like
bald
one
off.
of the judges of people in the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He'd be like, does anyone believe that Epic Mike has no hair?
No, lies. He wouldn't even shave it off for $500. Screw him.
Yeah, we can have a bald cap. It just wouldn't work.
Lexicon Hellhound for $5. This super chat is during the bald off. Thank you. Saucy super chat will always read 5 stories after the one.
Stream so well. He gave us
and the funny part is I did try to do that to at least kind of help with continuity in our conversations. Let's just say Disbrew and I are the people who don't keep track of these things. Wicked is a little better at keeping on top of it. And now we don't have our moral indicator, so
we're lacking our moral compass. Mind you, she thinks buffaloes have wings, so I don't trust her for anything.
It's just one thing, okay? Everything else, I think she's fine.
That's all you need. The moment you find somebody is thick about one subject, you don't trust them for anything else. You think buffaloes have wings, that's enough for me.
Thank you, Lexicon. Jason Webster for $2 says, need to watch Ironheart like you need gonorrhea. No one needs that.
I've seen episode 3, but I still need to review episode 3.
I can't wait to see your video on that.
It is glorious.
Oh, it's one of the worst.
She actually murders a person.
Mm-hmm. And cries about it in the end. But she betrays everyone. Okay, is all I know. Literally everyone.
Well, I've read other professional critics as well, so I know what happens in the future.
Interesting. They didn't get struck down
like Game of Thrones, actually. I wasn't expecting that.
Jesus de Villa has gifted a Wicked Virtue membership. Now, I know I wasn't on during the Ironheart conversation, and I think she is a villain. And the fact that they try to portray her as a hero is it's just a joke at that point. And the decisions she makes are so selfish, just like every girl boss hero Marvel has put out. And we're just supposed to like her. The one thing that like bothered me the most that we didn't talk on FNT was after they did that heist, with the cars and they got all their money and got paid, the one girl was like, stole the hood's hood. She's like, I've been working on this for a month.
Oh, that's episode 3. You're mixing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then the cousin slams her and she's like, yo, what's your problem? I'm like, girl, you just stole your boss's hood. What's your problem?
Yeah.
And then she's like,
the audience knows
apologize
even
to me.
more. The audience knows even more context. So they know he's doing it because he doesn't want her to like suffer the consequences. So from our perspective, he's even more correct. But yeah, she spent, I think she said, like weeks trying to break into this guy's safe and saw no problem with him whatsoever.
Yeah. And then she thinks it's his problem that he is maybe protecting her in a sense. Because guess what? Yes, y'all are thieves. I understand that. But you have to have some respect among thieves at the same time.
No, well, their issue is they come from the equality of outcome perspective. So he had a cape, she didn't have a cape, therefore she needed a cape. And any difference in outcome, it's essentially this is what some people say, like, equity and equality, that they're exactly the same because they end up at the same result, so they're essentially the same pathway. They see the fact that all people are equal, which means the same, so that the end result of all consequences should be the same, and if there isn't, then discrimination is there. So he had a cape, she didn't have a cape, therefore she should have a cape, because otherwise he's oppressing her. And so she's right to take it from him because she should have a cape. It's essentially every single person is selfish and they all are ultimately envious, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And this is why when they're like, well, Tony Stark had $1 billion, I don't have $1 billion. If I had $1 billion, I'd be Tony Stark. That's the logic.
No!
Well,
guess what?
It's the logic of a 3-year-old, but that is the logic.
How many times have people won the lottery and they actually end up being in more negative than when they first started? Because guess what? They're
bankrupt.
And they buy houses, cars, designer stuff. They act like they are the richest person in the world. But guess what? We see, this is just an example, Mark Zuckerberg. He might be a robot. We don't know. But he does not wear the clothes that you would think a billionaire would wear. Guess what? Conserving your wealth is also what is part of being wealthy. And so if you are spending it ostentatiously on all these big ticket items, you're not going to stay wealthy. You know how much it costs to run a multi-million-dollar home? How much even just insurance and property tax are on those types of homes? And then on top of that, of course, your bills, your utilities and whatnot. Yeah, most people cannot afford that. So don't be dumb with your money. It's literally one of the stupidest things. But anyways, I'm not rich for reasons. Highlander member for 4 months says, hello to the sauciest saucy saucers that ever sauced. Went to the doctor and told him I hear buzzing all the time. Told me it's just a bug going around. Highlander, thank you so much for that super chat. That was very funny. Staccato DDS for $10 says, party at Wicked's place, or is it just a party at our separate places and we're just here in a online party? Is this meta at this rate? Chat. Psychotic Mongoose for £2 British. At least Wicked didn't end the stream this time. True. I've done that a few times. So I have nothing to say on that. Lexicon 5 Hellhound for $5 says, a good personality can make an average woman hot. She literally becomes more physically attractive, which I absolutely agree with. My favorite example is Amber Heard, who is objectively one of the hottest women out there. But as soon as she opened her mouth, she became subjectively uglier. And it's not. And like Sydney Sweeney, I don't think she's mid, but I don't think Sydney Sweeney
facially
is objective.
She's mid.
Yes. So objectively, she's kind of above mid, below super freaking duper hot.
It depends whether you're judging it from the neck down or the face up.
Overall, altogether.
Well, she's not mid altogether because she's got
not
a great body.
super freaking hot.
Which is why she's famous.
And the thing is, because of her opinions and the way she conducts herself, she is even more hotter than I think altogether who she is.
I see her as if you're walking through the desert and then you suddenly see water, that water is essentially the most valuable possession at that time. But if you were in any normal land, it wouldn't be. And I see that a lot. I think it is purely because Hollywood has gone so far the other way, where the correct thing for women to do now in Hollywood is to virtue signal. Like, you saw Black Widow, the actress. She's like, well, I was hypersexualized. Like, that's the way Hollywood's gone.
She embraced
and
it
so,
till she couldn't.
Exactly, yeah. But so it is for a new actress, a younger actress, to go, no, actually, I think it's fine. I actually really like it.
We'll see, I guess, in 10 years.
It's so unique. You stand out, and that makes you do better.
Mm-hmm.
If Hollywood had remained Hollywood and they just only employed 10s, I don't think she'd stand out as much.
No. Lexicon Hellhound for $10. I wasn't talking about the term. I was talking about the group of beliefs or findings. And because we talked about this probably 5 subjects later, I don't know what you're talking about. So I apologize, Lexicon Hellhound.
Can you not search his name in the super chat thing? Is there nothing for that?
I don't know how to upsearch his name. I'm just going off of StreamYards.
Oh, because if you're on the YouTube backend, you could just Control F his name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's populating
under monetization in the back end of YouTube. I don't know what you have access to.
I don't have access to her channel, unfortunately. So, yeah, I apologize, Lexicon. I wish I did, at least to
if
get
you just
this
say
context.
in the chat what the term thing is.
Maybe
if you tag me in the chat and say, I'll.
Maybe it was about. Was it about when I was talking about
agreeableness? Wasn't talking about the term agreeableness, talking about the group of. Yeah, that's the way I took it. So I don't know whether X-Ray replied to something else. Yeah, I knew you were talking about. There's a test essentially which puts you in different categories. This is one of the things. If you watch Devil's Plan, it seems that in Korea everyone takes that, or maybe they just did it for this show, but they all knew the results of their personality test. One of them is agreeableness and everything else. They actually at some point say the letters of what they are, but you know their personality traits up front.
Like, I think about agreeableness, like, I think in society and the respect that you have for each other, even if you might not like each other, I would rather have like a respectability in conduct.
No, that's not what it means. I understand what lexicon means now when he's like, no, I mean the term. Yeah, he meant the psychological definition of the personality test. And agreeableness is there's been studies of it. So essentially, you put 10 people in a room, smoke starts pumping under a door. The other 9 people just stay there. Do you stay there or not? Because I'll be like, the smoke, I'm not staying here. I will be the one person in a room of 100 people telling you you're all wrong. Whereas agreeable people will be like, no, I know, fine. No, the line is the same distance as everyone else. There's lots of psychological tests on this stuff. Most people go along with most people.
Lemmings, as I like to call them.
No, lemmings is kind of an insulting term. This thing when I talk in these terms, I'm not putting like judgment or positive or negative. I'm just thinking this is how the world is. This is how people are. That's what I find interesting.
I'm neither saying it's positive or negative, but humans are like lemmings. We're group creatures.
Yeah, but lemming is it's an insulting term because it implies that there is something wrong with it. No, I actually think that in general you want a community, a group of humans to go along in the majority with the mass path, and then you do want kind of the lunatics to just go off and explore. And if they find the correct path, then society swerves with them. But they could also go out and flame out and die. And then you still want the 80% to continue on the path they're already going.
True. I guess we'll find out who the lunatics are in this universe. And I kind of like that.
Well, the most dangerous thing would be if the 80% are on the death path. In which case, nearly all of humanity gets wiped out, and it's only the few people that went off.
I'd rather an asteroid or a solar flare take us out. But we'll see.
No, I
want to have a relatively quick death, is what I'm saying.
Well, what I said wasn't like that. That would essentially be everyone goes, because I think that's what I've described as the way I think society's going. That most people are just going and they just won't breed, and then they just die off, and then you'll have a side path that is the correct one, which is the small number of people, but they go off and they just essentially repopulate everything.
Maybe Atlantis 2.0?
Well, no, because from what I don't really know much about the Atlantis from like the actual theory part. Well, I only know the myth.
It's still a myth at this point because we have not found Atlantis.
No, I know. No, what I mean, but there's a difference between the myth of it's a story, and then there's the myth of people think that they've got some scientific basis for it. Whereas, I only know this like the fantasy, and from what I know, that was meant to be like some kind of grand disaster. I don't think this will be. I think this is just a lot of people are following a really bad idea. And they will eventually follow a better idea because you'll have a load of people that don't breed. I think that's basically inevitable at this point. Lexicon Hellhound for $5 because our camera just went off. I went to flight school. If you took the test or flight lessons and forgot the information, you crashed and died. Yeah, that's not what I mean, because I can concentrate and remember something. So if I go through a tutorial in a video game, I can remember the tutorial. It's not a problem with my memory. My issue is, if I'm bored, I don't remember anything. So if you ask me about Andor, I wouldn't remember it. All I know about Andor, right, when I watched it, I was so bored. I hated the thing. And so I end up with a lot of the kind of the impression of that kind of stuff, but I only remember the cliff notes. Whereas if I went to flight school, presumably I'd be interested in flight school, and so I would want to learn it. And anything I want to do, I basically get obsessed about and hyper-focus on, and know it very quickly. So I tend to pick up things that I care about really fast.
It's like the rabbit holes. You know, when you find a subject and all of a sudden you're like searching for all the videos and trying to find every information out there.
On Twitter, Savvy was posting about RimWorld. RimWorld, Factorio, I can't play. Because if I do, they're such good games, I get hyper addicted to them, my entire world falls apart. I stop eating, I stop drinking, I stop working. It's the closest I would have to like a destructive addiction, essentially. Just because they scratch some kind of weird puzzle-solving thing in my brain. Like, the only reason I'm alive right now is because Baldur's Gate 2 had loading screens that said, remember to eat. And so I remembered. I would not eat for 2 days, legitimately, because I'd just be playing the game, and then I'd go to sleep, wake up, and play it. So yeah, I fall down random things. This is why when people are like, I don't know how you know this. It's like, yeah, because 15 years ago, I fell down some rabbit hole for 5 days where I learned everything I can about this really niche thing. And then I just remember interesting bits.
And that's the great thing about the internet is like, there's so many videos and topics out there. You can find yourself down so many different subjects that you would not even believe. Like, what's one thing that I like ancient civilizations and all that, and I kind of want to do a deep dive. I found out like Knights Templar. I thought it was literally just a myth, but there's like people who actually believe. And I personally don't know the validity of this, but they are like, I'm a Knights Templar. I'm from a lineage of this, and I'm like, okay, now I need to find more information about this.
Yeah, I mean, things like, what's your channel called? The Final Frontier, is that what it was?
Forbidden Frontier, yeah.
The Forbidden Frontier.
All the different types of weird conspiracies out there.
Yeah, I like reading about that kind of stuff or watching videos about it purely from a, this is an interesting story thing, but not believing it. My issue as of late is a lot of the things where I would like, oh yeah, turned out to be true. And so now I'm like, could be anything. And I have found my entire life, I found that the things that I was taught in education when I was young are all wrong. And they were deliberately wrong. And they were actually really awful and horrific ways to live your life if you followed them. And I think most people would benefit from going through foundational quotes or ideas or just like reflexive responses that you have to things and actually thinking about them and if they are correct. Things like power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. Does it? Have you ever thought about it? Or is that just something you've heard and now you've believed? Because to me, that's not true at all. It's like if you have a good person and he's king, there were plenty of good kings. He had absolute power. So, like, a bad person with power would corrupt, but a good person wouldn't. So then you're like, well, why did that saying ever happen? Like, why did that come into being? Why did a load of people want you to believe it to the point where now you do when you were taught it at school? And like, equality, is that actually good? Because nobody believes it. Nobody believes everyone's equal. That's stupid. Are you equal to a murderer? No, you're obviously better than a murderer. You haven't murdered anyone. So why would you ever want to be equal to a murder? Why would you want everyone to be included? Why would you want to include murderers? Like, all these things are taught in school and they're never thought about afterwards. Like, well, maybe people should.
And that's the complicatedness of being in a society where opinions sometimes matter and mostly matters and always matters, and balancing that, unfortunately. That's why I like looking at my friends and my family to get their opinion of me, which most think I'm crazy anyway. So there we go.
That's never really been a problem with mine, like other people's opinions of it.
Oh my gosh. When I came across the border this time, I was like, they were like, oh, what are you coming down for? I was like, I'm going to a thing called Cosmic Summit. It's like
American Border Patrol is like,
they're intense.
Yeah, they are. Any other country, right? It's so weird. You hear like pleasure, they'll look at your passport. They'll be like, should you come in? And they'll let you through. The USA take it really seriously. They want to know why you're there, what you're going to do there, how long you're going to be there, when you're going to back. They are the most strict border security.
The amount
like, anywhere
of times,
in Europe, they just let you through.
The amount of times that I got secondary checked.
Yeah. Only one time have I not been secondary checked. Two times I got dragged into some kind of airlock security room. And I'm like, I was like, I have no idea what, because they don't tell you. Like there was one, it's like you're getting secondary score checked. Another time I got dragged through like 2 metal airlock doors. I'm like, what on earth is this? Absolutely wild.
Well, because you've only flown, so I got secondary checked only through car, like ground transport. So, thank God.
No, on mine. Well, of course, you know what airports are like. You go through you're put in little tunnels that go through things, so they control you. They control you like cattle. And if they want to drag you off into a secure room, you get dragged off into a secure room.
Yeah, it is what it is.
And they're just like, you talk to a guy, he's like, no, you've been pulled up for this, and you just go off, and you go through like double metal, like safe-like doors. Whatever. What on earth do they think I've done here?
Yes. I love border security. I can't.
Well, the last time it was, you've brought a camera with you. I was like, wait, what?
Am I not allowed to be on camera at all?
Absolutely wild.
Yeah, and I think that I will say this, at least the world of content creators has made it a bit more convoluted crossing the border.
I was told I was in a gray area, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm in Vegas to be in Vegas, not for anything YouTube related, essentially.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no, I don't have a problem with it. But he did, like, it seems that the law hasn't caught up with reality, and so they're trying their best to use their own judgment, but they don't have any guidance on which way they should go.
I will say this. This is always the case. If what you do replaces a person in America for income, then that's a problem.
That's fair.
Which I agree.
Yeah.
No visa, no job. Okay, I get that.
This is the interesting thing when people like America First, and they seem to think that foreigners would be against America First. And I know, I understand. I just want the same for my country. Like, that's the only thing. That's why I understand that you want it, because that's what I want for me.
I want more than just butter knives. Oh my gosh.
Actually, an extremely rare opinion in my country, that is. I know I'm in the minority in that, and it'll never happen.
Lexicon for 5 says, I went to flight school. If you took the test or flight lessons and forgot the information, you crashed and died. That's
like if you
what
fly
being
a
a bad
helicopter
student
into a
is.
plane.
Honestly, I think flying is insane. I do think the sims for flying is a lot more advanced than what it used to be, and I think that's also a good thing. I would not want to fly something that is more than even just my car. That's just me. Maybe a
I don't
boat.
think you'll even get to drive your car. I think it'll just all be automated.
I
The
mean, I
computers will
my
drive the
car.
cars.
I love my car. I love it so much.
You can have your car, you just won't be driving it.
Mm. That reminds me of the Amazon show Reloaded or Uploaded, where there's a conspiracy of how this one person died, and they had self-driving cars. If that gives you an idea.
I saw a video on Twitter where there was a car going along and it just drove into the left lane rather than the right lane, and it just kept going. And the guy manually moved it over, but if he hadn't, it was gonna just head into traffic.
Yeah, and don't trust your car, guys. Okay, I think it's best you keep an eye of where it goes.
I was also in a Vegas taxi though, where it was being driven by a person, and a car cut in front of him, and the car stopped. And it stopped before he did because we were, and so there are also times where Teslas will
F up.
No, because
F up or do well.
The Tesla didn't trust the driver to stop, so it stopped for him. But this car just pulled in front of him, and the Tesla prevented the crash.
Oh my god, my mom's car when I drove it, Toyota Corolla hybrid. It was confused on which lane it was in, and we were going around a curve to the right, and I was in the right lane and the car was in the left lane, but the car in the left lane was ahead of me, and the car thought that the left lane car was in front of me, so it was automatically stopping. And I was like, no, I'm in my own lane, don't do that.
I don't think it lets you override it though, does it?
No, it still stopped it. What's this?
Oh, I was just
God.
I don't know whether you were done with super chats or whatever.
No, I'm done with super chats as of right now.
I like this because it said Rachel Zegler, theater kid, based princess.
How so is she based?
She is absolutely the base. Well, one of the things I have seen other interviews with her where she said essentially, when I'm done with all the stuff, I'm going to go out into the country with my boyfriend. I'm going to have lots of kids. Now, that's always interested me because it means that essentially you've got really traditional beliefs, even though she's preaching against all of them. And it does seem to be
very loudly.
I think you should all have these beliefs, but I have something different. Because I saw a video when she was on the set of Hunger Games, and her boyfriend was on the same set, and she was having makeup done doing an interview. He walked over, and she visibly melted. Like, he walked in, and you saw her, like, melt in front of him.
Oh my god. He literally slapped her with the based stick. Sounds like it.
And you see this a lot, right? So the Sex and the City writers, they were pitching, oh, you should just be a slag and walk around and have all this kind of... They were all married at home.
Person.
Well, no, they were all preaching all this stuff. They were going back to their husbands and kids. This happens a lot with women. They will preach oh, you should just be all feminist. Blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they're living the exact opposite life. And it seems to be that's what Rachel is. Or at least once. She may not be living it now, but she does say, I'm going to go out onto the farm and have like loads of kids with my boyfriend.
I mean, that's why I love Brett Cooper. She literally went to the farm and had kids. Or is having a kid because she's pregnant right now.
But this entire article is another way of... And there was a lot of talk when she was in Evita of, this is going to be a launch pad back into Hollywood. Then there was various rumors what she was going to be. There's all the interviews are all like, oh, you should spend time with her. She's so amazing. She's eating sushi. Spent the morning living her dream. And after launch, she'll do it again.
All those cat ladies are like, you go, girl.
The clear-voiced internet... Well, this is the thing. I don't think Rachel will become a cat lady. I think she will become the countryside wife with kids.
I hope so. I just don't like her. I still don't like... I don't have ill will to her. I'll just react to everything she does and comment on that. I think she's not smart.
I always find it interesting when Hollywood picks a person to be successful, and there's this much marketing around them being successful. Pedro is one, Rachel is another, and I like that, not just for like the play of like pitching it, how they pitch. I always like marketing of stuff, but it's like, why? Why did you pick these two people? So Zegler is in beast mode. Yearn to play Eva. A lot of the things is like, no, they're really passionate, which is stuff that like the people have said in this sphere. No, I think you should care about the role. I think you should be in the source material. They do take that kind of stuff and write it into the articles.
I think that with Rachel Zegler and Pedro Pascal specifically, that they believe that they have a influence actually in changing culture. Dang, girl, I feel like I might as well see nips at this point.
You've got to be careful. Those holes aren't where you expect.
Exactly. But they truly think that they actually influence culture when maybe they do or don't, but it depends on their measurements. Yes, definitely.
That's the problem. They used to.
Well,
a lot of people are still living in that world.
They think Pedro influences culture. I'd say Pedro probably does more than Rachel, but not a huge jump between.
My issue, I remember times where it did influence culture. I remember, and I've used this before. There used to be a time, it was in coupling, it was referenced all the time. England used to like small arses. And then it got imported from America. Suddenly everything's about the biggest, fattest arse you could possibly find. And I remember society changing. And now, nobody else seems to remember it. And it's only because it's in media that it's like, okay, I'm not crazy because they were talking about it at the time.
Booties, yay!
And it does seem to have been imported. And it's interesting when you find that, you hear stories about Korean people having their cheekbones broken to look more Western. And I think it all is influenced by movies and stuff about what they find or think is attractive. I think people are influenced by what they think other people find attractive, and they try and become that thing. So if you can convince people that this thing is what other people find attractive, people morph into it, regardless of whether they.
And I don't mean it in a derogatory way. Okay, people just follow trends.
Well, yeah, well, like I say, I think it's actually a good thing that 80% of the population follow the majority.
Well, and
the problem
they have
is
like
the
X
manipulation
leaders.
of it. That if you can make everybody think that everybody else thinks this, you do it anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, in an era of IP, and I actually think that the woke being put away is one of those things that it hasn't. Nothing's changed, but because enough people think that it has been, now they're like, well, obviously it has.
Yeah.
Like, well, has it? Has anything changed? Willing to do it, dying to do it my entire life. I was supposed to do a production of it a while ago, but it kind of fizzled out. Never happened. I did Romeo and Juliet, Heartstopper. She's one of the most talented artists I've ever worked with. I'm a theater kid. That actually explains a lot.
That got everything she wanted, which is also explaining a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I
so
do
young
think,
as well. So
I
she
do think that
expects to always
she's gonna always kind of be that spoiled brat, but it's a product of also what she is. So like she should have a realization, but at the same time, everyone else around her also did not help.
I'm not sure you can have the realization. If you achieve success so early, that's your baseline. That's how you think the world works. And she does seem to have the chip on her. I think the reality of being a woman in this industry, as archaic as it seems, is asking yourself, when will I get the chance again? Now, the male version of that is, when will I get the job? Or when will I make myself the chance? She's almost seeing it as like fate. Like, fate will provide me an opportunity, and then I will take it. Like, she's not, that sentence doesn't position herself as in control of her own life. And I think if you don't feel as if you're in control of your own life, that leads you more down the path of like racism and discrimination, because you don't think you can control things, so it must be somebody else's fault. Isn't a good thing.
No, it's not victim blaming, essentially.
In divisive times politically, it feels like the show to do now, the show about retreating the politician as the pop star, as tends to happen throughout history. The whole point of reviving shows is to show us that history repeats itself, and it's up to us to learn and break that cycle. Now, I despise this view of history, that history just repeats and we have to break this. Like, no, because that's anti-tradition. I actually think that history builds upon itself. And if you want to blow up the wheel, you've basically destroyed history. And you're saying that you, as a 20-year-old, know more than every single other person that ever lived, which just seems stupid.
And it's just that preaching, like, I know better. But do you? Because I think when you actually are very wise,
Oh,
you do the whole idea of I don't give advice unless asked. And she's totally giving advice without being asked.
I do that though. If someone gives me a problem, I give them a solution.
But you were asked.
No, they might just describe a problem to me. One thing I despise is, and I've heard this said a lot more in recent years, when they're like, well, you know, my wife came to me and I had to ask her, do you want me to solve the problem or just want me to listen to the problem? And I'm like, you absolute cock. Like, if she comes to you and gives you a problem, answer the pissing problem and solve it. If she wants to complain about a problem and doesn't want an answer, she doesn't have a problem. Like, a problem does not exist that you don't want solved. You just want to whine, and then you should just tell her to shut up. She should grow up and get over it, rather than demanding the attention from you that she doesn't deserve. Like, no, I just want to be treated as if I'm a victim. No, you don't. Shut up. Grow up, you child. Like, that's the response. If like, I just want to complain as if it's a release. No. If you have a problem, you don't want the problem anymore. If you want to keep the problem, well, now you've just got a pet thing that you really enjoy. That's not a problem. That's a kink.
Oh my God. As a woman, I don't traditionally tell my partner my problems. I only tell my girlfriend, so it's so funny hearing Desperate talking about this way.
Well, no, I mean, it's not a if like you've got a massive problem that you like, oh my God, I've got into this thing, I don't know what to do, it's destroying my life, then you should probably go and get advice, and they'll be like, no, well, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, and it'll go away. That's the correct way to deal with a problem. If you're like, well, Sharon did this to me, and Sharon did that, it's like, have you ever tried being nice to Sharon? She's like, no, I don't want to do it. Well, then you just like having the problem. You just enjoy it. And there's nothing wrong with having something negative that you enjoy. Like I say, I quite enjoy trading barbs with people. But that's not a problem. That's something you enjoy. You like don't picture it as a problem.
Don't date an American woman is all I gotta say, just brew, okay? Oh my God. Is there anything else in this article you want to highlight?
Well, I just like that Zegler has never had a job, a normal job.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of interesting. Self-confessed theatre kid, got picked out of 30,000. You can understand. I think this is actually a story of Ironheart. So Ironheart got picked in Wakanda.
Riri, you mean? Yeah.
But she got all the best technology. Then she came back. She got a Tony Stark scholarship to MIT. She got everything she wanted. So she's always had everything she wanted immediately given to her for free. So under that, you can understand why she doesn't want to get a job and earn something, because she's never earned anything. She's always had something given to her. So she thinks this is how the world works, and she probably thinks other people should have it work that way as well. And I think Zegler probably has the same issue, that she got picked. She was so lucky so early on. She just doesn't understand how reality is. And in that regard,
that's the thing, is when you're so young and given so much, it's like thinking that's the normal.
Yeah.
And that's why she is the way she is. She's spoiled. She doesn't listen to people. She thinks she can spout whatever she wants, no repercussions.
Well, she's had easy street, but she thinks she's oppressed.
Yeah.
Is essentially the thing.
When she has actually had a lot more privilege. Like, I know I've grown up a very privileged life, but I love the way my parents instilled values of money in life, and just like the amazing life that North America has brought for us versus what they went through in the Vietnam War. But she's not been through that, I don't think.
But even in this, Zegler's journey with film was never easy. You told us she got handpicked from 30,000 people by Steven Spielberg.
That sounds easy.
After never having a job. I think that it's just that you don't have a grasp on how the rest of the world works, but you still want an opinion on it, even though you've never been part of it. And I think lots of people can enter this way. School teachers. If you went from university to be a school teacher, or from university to be in the public sector, and you've never had a private
It's
sector
such a
job,
stark
you
difference.
don't know how the private sector works, and so you shouldn't have an opinion on it. You've never heard of it. And that's why they often have opinions. I wish we'd just all be given money. We should all have pay rises. Like, no,
not
it
how the
relies on the
world works.
profitability of the company, actually.
No. And I wish that more people experience turmoil in their life. Not saying I want it, but I think having that contrast, or like, I guess travel is the next best thing for that, which I also know is something super privileged. But like, I remember seeing, and this is like such a pivotal moment in my life. There was a beggar on the streets in Saigon who had no limbs. He had a bucket strung to his neck, and he was crawling across the streets. And that's his life, begging for money, because there's no way he can work. He has no other skills.
Oh.
And he just crawls like a caterpillar all around.
I may have continued reading the article.
What did you read?
If she's been scatty and punchy conversationalist so far, her tone is now direct. My compassion has no boundaries, is really what it is. And my support for one cause does not denounce others. That's always been at the core of who I am as a person. It's the way I was raised. There are obviously things that are at stake by being outspoken, but nothing worth innocent lives. My heart doesn't have a fence around it. And if that is considered my downfall, there are worse things. Zegler has been pinned with the blame for the film's commercial failures. Her thoughts on an original film made nearly 100 years ago, which highlighted how its now shaky gender politics were being reimagined for a new generation. This became additional fodder for trolls to call out ungrateful for the part. She was also a young woman of Colombian descent, playing a part that right-wing pundits felt was destined for a white woman. I mean, name is Snow White. Unless she's supposed to be addicted to something else of Colombian descent. The combination of online vitriol and watching a dream role turn into a nightmare affected her deeply. It's always the victim complex.
I honestly don't feel for her. I really don't feel for her. As someone who has also lived a very, well, quote, privileged life, have fun.
There's nothing wrong with living a privileged life.
No, but realizing it also is a thing.
Privileged or entitled. I don't know whether it's an English thing. Like, we have a concept of. I remember it was American. I'm like, yeah, I'm a peasant, and the American was like, yeah, but don't you want anything more? Like, no, you don't understand. I'll always be a peasant. That's how English culture is. I'm not royalty. I'm not a lord. I'll never be a lord. I'm not doing anything that would lead me on the path to get a knighthood. And so I will always be a peasant. And Americans are more like, no, but any person can rise to be the highest in the land. That's not the English way.
But do you want it is also another thing.
Well,
Are
no,
you
'cause it's
taking the
class-based.
steps
So-
of it?
Well, we judge people, like, we have still have a class-based culture. And a lot of that comes down to the accent, how you talk. You can tell people's class immediately. Just by accent alone, you can tell which school they went to. Like Little Platoon, very posh accent.
Oh my god, I can listen to him all day and all night.
Now, sometimes there are times where someone will pick up an accent from their parents and they didn't go to the school, but their parents did. But you can tell a lot about an English person or like a UK person
based on accent.
From the accent.
Even though it's the smallest country and like one of the smaller countries.
Well, it's always been the meme. Like, you travel 10 miles up the road,
completely
accents have
different
changed
world.
and you have bread rolls of a different name.
Yeah. Yeah, Platoon's accent.
Oh yeah. It's not a criticism when I say you have a posh accent, but it is a posh accent.
It is. And then I think
it's a very high class accent.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, as I'm like thirsting over Platoon's accent.
well, this is the thing. Depending where you go in the country, mine's like a common RP accent. So it's not a working class accent, but it's not posh.
It's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, there are people in certain areas that would say I would have a posher accent.
Like Cranberry, thank you for the $10. I'm joking. This is a joke. I have no idea, in all honesty, how Az's accent works in the hierarchy of income.
I think Az just has a local accent.
Mm.
It's not one of the inferior local accents.
If you
like
know, you know.
Liverpudlians or Birmingham. I'm Dave from Birmingham. Like the Brummie accent is the worst English accent out of everything.
I love it. Honestly, I don't even care. I think British accents, Australian accents always sound so nice to me. So don't have to work very hard to sound, you know. Thank you, Cranberry, for $10. Says, hey, X-Ray, Disprove, and Chat. Great episode. Thank you so much. Jason Webster with 5 Australian says, I have listed numerous K-dramas in the chat, X-Ray, and I need a list of that compiled together. So thank you. In which he says, I will send an email of K-drama list, X-Ray. Thank you so freaking much.
That, or like copy it in a tweet and tag us, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes. I honestly do think if you send the list to me, extragirl2077@gmail.com, I will share it with Disprove because I know he loves foreign media.
Yeah, my issue is I get told about stuff and forget. Like this,
yes,
people
me
say
too.
my memory's great. It isn't. It's just good on certain things. That is completely useless.
Absolutely. Now Disprove, as we're winding down, because obviously we talked about Ironheart so much. We might have to change the title on this. What is coming up for you? Because I know there is one more at least this week.
I've got to do episode 3 for review, and then on Wednesday there's another 3 dropping. I want to talk about James Gunn's marketing. Then there's Pedro Pascal, and there's Rachel Zegler. It's like a lot of the stuff that I kind of brought to this because stuff I want to make videos on, but everything kind of hit at the same time. So I could probably make like 11 videos back to back, but doing that many in many days is
it's a lot of videos that you've enlisted in the next. How many days is that? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 4.
Yeah,
not even.
I mean,
3.
Even as it is, I want to do episode 3 tomorrow, which is today. Then James Gunn, then Pedro. Then there's the next 3 reviews. Then I want to do an AI video as well. And there's a Rachel Zegler video.
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah,
but we need more Disprove content. Maybe, hopefully, I can't wait to see it. For myself, I have Forbidden Frontier at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Nerdrotic Live and on Rumble on the Nerdrotic channel. We're going to talk about the post-Cosmic Summit talk on things we learned, things we liked, as well as the first 4 episodes of Skinwalker Ranch. And then during the week, Nerdrotic Nooner, Nerdrotic Real BBC is happening on his channel. So there's a lot of stuff happening on that aspect. I would be going to Wisconsin on Monday. So this is a pre-warning. If you're on the west side of the lake, Michigan, watch out. I'll be on the roads. But yeah, this was so fun. Thank you, Disprove. I love our drunk chats. Thank you, chat, for being part of the chat. And entertaining us and making us drink, because that also is a fun part of Saucy Saturdays. I enjoy Saucy Saturdays.
I always remember a tweet I sent a long time ago, and it was essentially, thank you for allowing me to do as a career things that I would just think about walking down the street. And that is where a lot of my...
Oh my God, that is so you. You've said this before. You're like, my videos are what I would have thought anyways.
Well, yeah, but I think best walking. So... if ever I'm in an argument with you, like in a one-on-one room, I will be pacing up and down in the room because I think better walking. And if I'm like going to the shops, I walk. I'm not in America, so I don't need to drive to the shop. I can walk to the I walk every day to get food. And that's when I think about a lot of stuff. And so that I would be thinking about this stuff previously before making videos, and I just started making videos, and they happened to take off. So.
And I grossly thought you were under subbed back when I first met you. I think there was like 6 subs, and I'm so happy to see where you are now. Like really, truly.
No one's more surprised than me.
I love seeing my friends succeed and Yeah.
It's a very interesting difference between people that make YouTube like videos and people that make streams. All I see on Twitch is inter-Twitch drama, because when you stream, if you're watching one stream, you can't watch another. So they are actively competing for views. Whereas on YouTube, you can watch Nerdrotic's video, and then Az's video, and then my video, and then Mauler's video, and you can go from one to one to one. And so there's no competition, and so you can remain friends without the drama. Whereas you go on Twitch, just falling out with people all the time. And they're all like, anyone will stab you in the back. And I am very glad I'm on this side, not that side. I don't want to be in the thing of, no, you can't trust anybody.
So there's certain people you can trust and some you can't. And that's an unfortunate learning lesson of just even life.
No, I was watching a Tectone video today, and he said he can't trust any Twitch streamer. Like, he's just given up because every single person will stab you in the back for another 5 years.
There's actually some really good streamers out there. That's sad.
Oh yeah, but it's because they're live, and so if 5 people are watching you, they're not watching him. And it is way more competitive in live streaming than it is in video.
Well, F that then. Maybe I should make some videos.
Well, on YouTube, I think videos are how you grow, and live is how you interact with those people.
We've talked about that. And I, as gay as that sounds, I do like seeing the growth of channels, and make sure you watch out for
She likes a big channel, ladies and gents.
Shut the front door now. Make sure you watch out for Disprew's episode 3 of Ironheart and the rest of that series when it comes out. Thank you guys so much for being here on Wicked Virtue's channel. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for just being part of the conversation, because that is also one of the fun parts of being on a show called literally Saucy Saturdays, because we're getting sauced and tossed. Well, not tossed. We're getting sauced and
I was like, wait, what?
I was thinking about wings.
That.
You know, I told Disprew we got to wrap up because I'm hungry and I'm thinking about wings.
I know, she's the one still talking.
I know.
I just went, okay.
Okay, you know what? Maybe she just end the stream. So, thank you. I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.
You can't shut her up when she starts.